bottle of Saratoga, do you see a difference? Are you more
I'm
hydrated
hustling, man.
than
I'm hustling.
normal
I
with
feel like a
your
millionaire, man.
bougie fucking
Good
water?
quality H2O.
I'm really hoping this water helps my fucking my AOE or what's the fucking my ROA go up.
So what's next?
Water.
Are you gonna like bathe in Fuji water next? Or
Yo,
what's the next step?
Fiji water is like actually really fucking good.
Fiji, I said Fuji.
Fiji,
Yeah,
yeah.
Fiji.
Well, it's really, really good. Like if you do
Nah, it
that
is good.
No,
water
Brian,
testing
Chris is
shit,
like,
like that's
this
the only
is
one
my
that doesn't
glacier
pop off.
in Alaska.
It's because I saw
No,
that
Brian,
dude wash
this
his face
is
with
water.
this, and I told the cash register guy, I was like, look, if that dude can bathe his face in it, I can drink it.
Yo,
I
do
think
me a favor. Do me a favor and never say that again to anybody else.
never say that to a cash register, dude.
Ever anybody.
That guy was
Me,
laughing.
Derpy, the cash register guy, never say that again.
So Brian, Chris is acting like this is from water from a glacier in Alaska.
What is up? Welcome back. It's Sunday night. You're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I am here with my two co-hosts, Brian D from New Jersey and Derpy Entertainment himself. What is up, boys? How's it going? How's it going?
Yo. What's going on? What's going on?
Water.
Derpy, water? Did you say water? Guys,
Yes, water.
if you don't know,
H2O water.
water. I'm not gonna use it to bathe my face in it at 3 in the
Subtle
morning. I'm
flex.
just gonna drink it, dude.
Subtle flex.
Self. You gotta be when you're self-made. You gotta get the best, I guess.
Facts.
It's real crazy because, like, are you guys aware that there is water out there that does cost like shit up to like $800, like some like $200 to $800
Get the
water?
heck out of here.
No, I'm not even kidding, dude. I'm not even kidding. There's like some really, really infinitely crazy water.
So I take it that's the next step up from your Saratoga. Like that's the next.
Well, shit. I mean, I just spent what $2.69 on this bottle of water.
So obviously the next step
Jumped
is
right up
gonna
to
be the.
I gotta see if there's like a $50 one first.
That's wealth. That's wealth.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. You got a lot of money to
That's
throw
wealth,
away. If
man.
you're $50. Can
That's
you
wealth.
imagine next week if I came up with a $50 water bottle?
No, I would just call you bougie and keep it moving. That's all we're gonna
Just
do.
keep on moving, man. I'll be like, hey,
and then say that you're my idol and I aspire to be like you. That's exactly how
I'm
the
gonna do-
conversation is gonna go.
have you guys ever dwelled into that guy's videos? You know who I'm talking about? Like that.
I know
big-
you're talking about. I
I
have
know what you're
not.
talking about.
The funniest part of that video was the one that everybody tore up when he's like jumping in the water. Did you know that part? Did you get that part?
No.
So it shows that he's diving in the water at 4.
Oh yeah,
And then he lands at 4:05, dude. It took him 5 minutes to land in the water.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking awesome. This guy's got to be super fitness to be able to stop time. Stop time, baby. Boys, how was your guys' week, man? How was your guys' week?
Derpy, let's go. How was your week?
Straight.
Well, it was a week.
Oh,
We are now at Sunday.
Mhm.
Thunderbolts was all right. Cavs lost just today, so that sucks.
Mhm.
And shout out to my friend that got his Eagle Scout today. So
Nice.
What's
yeah,
Eagle Scout? What is that?
I think that's the highest you can get for Boy Scouts.
He's
I
like
think
he's like OG triple OG Boy Scout now.
That's
Yeah.
dope. Man.
like
Were
a
you in
leader,
that shit too or no, Derby?
basically. No, I just witnessed it. So
Shoot. Well, shout out to your friend, man.
yep.
By chance, does he know an old man with a house with a bunch of balloons on it?
No.
No,
Nice
I'm
reference.
just-
Nice reference.
It's the only guy I know that's a good Boy Scout, dude. I was just like the kid from Up, dude. That's the only thing I know, man. Yo, boys, it's been a crazy week, man. We finally got to that part in our timeline where the Century has come out live action. The Thunderbolts was finally released. We got to see it. Craziest thing that I heard this week was Kang's Dynasty. The first film was supposed to be released this week also.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's Thunderbolts. You know, everything got pushed back because of, things. I won't bring it up. But yeah, we finally got the Thunderbolts film, which we've been kind of anticipating. Now we're off to go see what is it? The Fantastic Four's next.
No, Superman's next, right?
Well, technically, they're both. I think releasing like on the same week or a week after.
No, yeah, I think Superman's first, and then I think the
2
following
weeks
week.
prior.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. Okay, so it's like 2 weeks in between.
Well, yeah. We'll be going off to see Superman hopefully first, and then right after the Fantastic Four. We got some stuff that we're going to be talking about today, and then of course, again during the series, The Last of Us 2 is showing every week on Sunday or Saturday. They release the episode, Derpy.
Sunday.
Mondays tonight.
Sundays. So what we do is we run the show for about roughly about an hour and a half, an hour 45, and then we jump right into that. You can follow us to it. We put a link up, and you can go and watch it with us, or we also put it up on Twitch and all these other things on Derpy's Entertainment. So if you guys want to go check us out, reacting to what we believe the show's doing, it's crazy too because Brian's super animated while we're watching this show. He really likes this.
I try to be.
Yeah. He really likes this show, but yeah, of course, we got some things I want to talk about. We're going to be talking about the last episode, of course. We'll save that for the very end. Same thing with the Thunderbolts. But I do want to jump right into it since it was already mentioned. We'll get right into the first topic. Superman. So Superman, we're super excited for. Me and Derpy were talking about this off screen, where we were saying I don't really know any specific people. And mind you, if anybody's out there, you guys are watching us, thank you guys for tuning in with us again on Sundays. Jump in the comment section and let us know what's up if you guys want to say anything. Do any of you by chance, and this goes out to our guys in the comments, our people in the comment section, do you guys know anybody that does not want Superman to succeed?
I know a lot of YouTubers that don't want Superman to succeed.
Personally, no.
Yeah. I want to say personally because if I jump on the internet and I just say like who thinks Superman sucks, I'm gonna get like fucking 28 years of shit. But exactly. I'm talking about like directly because that makes more sense to me, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's direct interactions with people. You know what I mean? That matters because everyday life, walking around, going to supermarkets or movie theaters or comic book stores or concerts, you have a group of friends that you hang around with and you know very personally well. Has any of them in your life have ever been, man, Superman's coming out, I hope it fucking sucks. Like, I hope it fucking fails completely.
I mean, honestly, in our vacuum, in my vacuum, I guess I would probably be the only person that's
a little bit reserved on
that's
it, right?
That's a little bit, yeah.
But that's not even hatred, though. That's not you wanting it to not succeed. That's more like you saying, like, I don't think it's going to succeed. Yeah, that's you coming to an assumption based on the fact. But I'm talking about like that you just.
Yeah, I don't have anybody. I mean, literally, but I mean, again, I talked to Michael Betancourt, and he's the most optimistic person I ever met in my life, and he's looking forward to it. So I can't say that there's many people that are looking. I don't want to say looking forward, but are expecting it to fail or want it to fail. Everybody's pretty optimistic about it.
Derps, what about you, man?
I don't know anybody except YouTubers that want it to fail. So,
okay, well, we'll go with that. Let's use that then. So, Derps, out of those people that you know that are YouTubers, I mean, probably not like in a personal level, but just by seeing and Strickland, what is it that they want the film to fail about? Because I don't think they really want Superman as a character or an IP to fail. I'm kind of guessing that it's more towards like the James Gunn stuff or the factor of the way that he kind of carries himself, right? Like an outside system.
Yes, that's mostly they hate James Gunn.
Okay.
More than the character.
Now, wait, hold on. Can I just remember really quick, Chris? Now, is it the fact that they hate James Gunn, or they just don't have the
faith in him?
The faith that he's going to be able to pull off a Superman movie?
What do you think, Derps?
I don't think they have the faith in him.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So it's not. It is personal, but it's not more so that they just don't like him. They just don't think that he's the person for the job, and I think that's mostly what I have run across myself.
You see, and I think that's a very important factor to look at when it comes to the conversation we're holding about Superman. None of us really want the movie to fail. We just don't. We're not positive about it because we don't think that they're going to take care of the IP and do it correctly.
Correct.
That's a really big difference. It's a really big difference in the fact of you being aggressive to not want it to succeed and hopes that it does, but you don't think it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's pretty simple.
And then in the same breath, try to distance yourself from the Snyder fanatics that just want him to fail because it's not anything associated with Zack Snyder.
Yeah, well,
So
but I still don't think that those people want Superman to fail.
I
Like
don't know.
if they get a good Superman, I think they'll be like, hey, you know what? Like the Snyder thing didn't work, but finally we're back.
I think generalizing that
No,
would be I think generalizing that would be a mistake because the
they
Snyder
do not
fan
care.
base, yeah, the Snyder fan base is very toxic and rabid as just any other fan base. So I think being everything that's come with Zack Snyder in his time with Warner Brothers, they don't want anything to succeed unless it's associated with him.
Well, I'll
Some
put
of
it
them,
out.
some of them, not everyone.
Yeah,
Not
I was
everyone.
gonna say, well, I'll put it out there. Being that we talked about it at the very beginning of this, I have the opportunity to go out and meet a good amount of people when it comes to going to events and
Mhm.
comic cons and all this stuff. And I interact with a lot of them based on comic books and stuff because I can't stop myself. This shit's like never ending. I'm
Of
podcasting all the
course.
time.
Yeah.
You know this, Brian. I'm podcasting all the
Yeah.
time. You and me
Yep.
both, baby.
You're never.
You and
Yeah.
me
You're
both.
never turned
I
off.
podcast all the time.
Yeah.
But again, very rare to none do I ever run into people that are like, yo, I'm a diehard Snyder fan. Like, fuck this guy and fuck Superman on this side.
Hmm.
I know, like, I cannot fathom anyone in any of those circles that I have ever run into that are like straight up Snyder fan. I hope everything else sucks. Like,
Yeah.
fuck that, they screwed us over. And it's kind of weird because it's like, I understand what you're saying, but like, I don't know if the Snyderverse situation is more of like a keyboard warrior problem or like an actual like people going out there and generally hating what Warner Brothers did to Snyder and not allowing him to continue.
I mean, but you would agree that they've been very vocal in their
Church,
dismay, right? So, like,
yeah,
it's like it is out there. I don't see anybody picketing a Comic
yeah.
Con or anything with James Gunn. I don't say it's to that level, but yeah, they will hop on their keyboards and say
And jump
fuck
right at
this
it, right?
movie and say fuck this
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, I've seen, and I've personally I've seen a lot of that, and to kind of piggyback off of what Derby said when it comes to media influencers and people that report on this, it come across their timeline as well. So I just think that again, and it's not like this topic really isn't about the Snyderverse or the Snyder fans. It's just trying to distance yourself and not to come across as just a flat out hater.
Hater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a flat out hater. Now let's say we're in James Gunn's situation,
Hmm.
right? You, me, you, Derpy, like we're all in that same position. Let's say we're the other partner. You know what I mean? And James Gunn is the dude. What do you think? Knowing this, because if us three literally disconnected from James Gunn's personal life and part of just the consensus mindset that James Gunn we have zero faith in, what do you think would be the smartest and safest move for him to do to get a win when it comes to the Superman IP?
Well, I don't want to, jump in front of Derby, but I can tell you his first mistake was directing this movie.
That's hardcore. Well, you see, like even with that, like we do not believe that he can do it, right?
That
But
was his
knowing that
mistake.
and him taking the reins because he still has to take responsibility for his action, right? And
Mhm.
wanting
I
that
get what
job and
you're
wanting that
saying.
position. What do you think would be the smartest, not safest? I don't want to say safest because safest would be like, Superman, the Incredibles, save him out of a tree,
I
real
think
simple shit, right?
I no, and my answer doesn't change. Is like you're not just some director in the Warner Brothers DC division. You're literally the head.
Mhm.
So you have the ability to hire people
Yep.
to execute
Direct,
yeah,
right,
to direct and write. And
produce.
the fact that he took it upon himself, and I've said this from the very, very beginning. You go back into the other episodes, I said
Mhm.
James Gunn is an acquired taste. Not
Yep.
everybody's gonna like his style.
Yep.
I like it, but then again, I have a very distinctive taste in the movies that I like.
True.
He is not a person that is going to be accepted across the board. When it comes to a property like Superman, you need to be as friendly to the main audience as possible.
Yep.
So
Vanilla, like we like to
yeah,
call him. You need to be very
exactly.
vanilla.
Exactly. And then not only that, but it takes the heat off of James Gunn, right?
Yes.
Like if it fails, you can say, you know what, well then it's this guy that I hired. We won't go in that direction again. If you're the head of the DC, studios,
I'll give you that, Brian.
Yeah,
and this fails, and
you put your head on the cutting block, dude.
you are the one that directed this, this is going to create a whole new level of problems going forward.
Well, that's exactly with Kathleen Kennedy, right? Like that's a really good example. Kathleen
It
Kennedy
would
went after
be
shit the
similar.
bed. You know, everybody's like,
but
trying
even
to-
then, Kathleen Kennedy has a fall guy. She's
yeah,
not a
may the fourth be
director.
with you guys. I was like, may the fourth be with you guys.
Happy Fourth, by the way. She's not a director. She's not like she's an EP, but she's not a director. So like if something fails, she always has a fall guy.
She just blames them.
James Gunn does not have a fall guy in this situation. The buck stops with him.
Yep.
So to answer your question, what would I have done if I was him? I would have hired somebody else to direct this movie.
Okay, that's a good point. It's a really, really good point.
Which you would have hired?
That I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's a long list. I mean, that's a really general idea. I mean, it'd be like, well, like who would you direct? You know, who would you get to direct? You know, the fucking Thunderbolts or whatever. Like it could be anyone, right? There's so many names and there's so many good directors. I mean, just off the top of my head, I would get the two brothers, the Rocco brothers, the ones that used to do the fucking YouTube videos, and now they work for 24.
Yeah,
fuck, I don't even know if they could do it, but I would hire them because they're great. I love those guys.
But that would be awesome. Like that, and to answer your question, Derby, I don't know exactly who, but I mean, there's at this point you're starting from ground zero. You don't really have much real estate here. So what I would do, I'd probably get somebody new. Somebody, you know what? I'd get a bunch of people.
Warner Brothers money too.
I get a bunch of people that would do some fan shit, and I get them on my team, and I get a nice, fresh, new nerd that understands the property and go from there.
Derpy, what about you? What would you do if you were the partner of James Gunn and you had full reins to kind of like make sure it went correctly? What would you choose to do?
Well,
Ryan made a good point.
My concern is, well, my first thing is I would have done a better marketing campaign than what he's been doing with it. I would have went into all the cons.
Yeah, valid. That's valid. Well, I've been talking about that shit since the beginning, right, Brian?
You have, and we've both been saying that. We've both been saying that, and not only that, but we don't even have an official trailer.
But I don't think he wants to spoil the movie though.
Yeah,
but
it's coming out this month.
Yeah, Derpy. Well, yeah, we don't even have an official trailer yet. We've only got a teaser and then an extended teaser. We don't even have an official. Not only do we not have an official trailer, but we haven't even seen any dialogue yet. We haven't heard anybody.
We don't even know what it sounds like, dude.
We haven't heard anything, bro, and that's weird. That's not weird. And I've said this like a couple episodes ago. Is that not weird to anybody that a blockbuster, a summer blockbuster like this, that depends so much on the future of this studio, this franchise, that we don't? The whole company, that we haven't even heard a dialogue yet. We haven't even gotten an official trailer yet. We've already gotten an official trailer with Final Fantastic Four.
Yeah, we got a lot of content with the Fantastic Four.
We haven't, and that's the thing that no one is speaking about. That's extremely alarming to me.
Yeah,
that's not normal.
100%. So Derp, like, so what you would do was what would you do? Like, what? Like, I understand
the marketing.
What you wouldn't do? Oh, the marketing, right?
You said the marketing, which is 1000% true.
So, let me ask you guys, just in general, would you take the approach like the writers did in She-Hulk, the series, and attack the fans or attack people that are in your audience?
No.
That doesn't sound smart, right? Like, at all.
It's not you don't want to alienate people. You want to bring more people in.
So the reason why I bring this up is because there's a huge rumor going around. And that rumor of going around is that James Gunn has decided to go with the idea that Superman in the film is not only fighting a giant dinosaur, it's not also fighting a random dude in a black suit that can kick his ass. It's that literally a lot of people assume is the reason why he lands in the snow and is all beat up with all the injuries that they listed. Yeah. Why he's choosing to sit there in front of Lois while there's some type of creature in the background destroying the city, rather than saving lives. He's sitting there kind of like, man, I don't know if I should go out there.
He's trying to get that kiss in,
that's weird to see Superman in that position, because even through factors in the comic book, when all the odds are against him, he still shows up. Like no matter what, it's the people he's trying to save, each individual one, not the consensus of humankind or whatever. I know he killed a fuckload of them in the Snyder Man of Steel's universe or whatever, but you know, it's debatable, I guess. But he's always in the front lines, right? Like that's the dude. That's the dude that saves lives no matter how big of a life it is. And he's there in the trailer, sitting with Lois, moping, not sure if he wants to go out there to whatever that thing is in the background. We don't know what it is. I'm just guessing. But he has to fight cancel culture.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, there is a part in the film which is very reminiscent to the Snyderverse series where he's being called out for attacking a guy in a wheelchair or not saving someone's life, and the guy's taking him to prison because of or court. Remember in the film in the Justice League, he was all
during the court scene, and
it was very cool because it made sense where the political people were trying to attack him in some way, try to find a way to control him, and someone was trying to exploit him for money. Very similar to the weird incredible scene when he saves the guy from falling, and then the guy like breaks his neck and he takes the superhero to court, and then superhero justice, they all have to get regular jobs and go into hiding. Like that makes sense when they attack the job of the superhero. This one is specifically canceling Superman for being a shit superhero, because the other thing that's going around is apparently a hashtag called hashtag super shit. Did you hear about this?
I did.
I'm the one that posted it. Yeah, I heard about this, and I just couldn't wrap my. I'm gonna let you finish and just explain to everybody what's going on, and then I'm gonna jump in this just to tell how and just say how ridiculous this fucking sounds. Go ahead.
And then so apparently he's being dragged, doxxed, and attacked on the internet by apparently Lex Luthor, who's got it all planned out, and apparently he has an army. I'm not even joking. I can't make this up because I wouldn't even make this up because it sounds stupid. I would never come up with this because it's dumb fucking storytelling. An army of monkeys that are keyboard typing all the super shit and all the dragging out Superman and continuously online and doing all this other stuff. Mind you, a lot of people are comparing this to when James Gunn was called out for his tweets and pedophilic tweets that he put out on the internet a very long time ago and got fired from the internet. And he was lucky enough that DC, no shame, was like, yo, we'll hire you, bro. We don't care what kind of kids you touch. You know what I mean? We'll hire you on the spot, when Disney let him go. And then Disney brought him back after success or whatever it was that they did because everyone was cool with him, I guess. I stood on business. I still don't like James Gunn based on the fact that I think it's a little too close for comfort that he was making those posts and tagging certain people who some of them have been arrested for those actions. I think that's a little too close for comfort. Again, I made the comparison as if I lived next to Jeffrey Dahmer and there was a dude down the hallway that we saw and there was the internet at the time and I tagged Jeffrey and I was like, yo, that motherfucker looks pretty tasty, huh? And then later on you find out the dude gets arrested because he's eating motherfuckers. You'd be like,
out of context.
Crispy knows some shit. Crispy knows. But again, I'm going to digress from that. So yeah, that's the entire rumor of what's happening with the Superman film. Mind you, in the very beginning when it was pre-shot and it was pre-shown, the directors and a lot of people, the higher ups were like, this is shit. You better do something to fix it. And they cut a fuckload out of it and they did a bunch of rewrites and a bunch of redones. So Robert in the comment section already says, I think it's fake. Brian and Derp, what do you?
I'll let Derp handle this.
Yeah, because Derp, you're a DC guy, man.
Yeah, he's the big DC guy. So I want to know his thoughts on this, and when not just your thoughts, but let's just say, well, first off, what do you think is if it's real or fake, and then your thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the chimpanzee part could be real.
That's what you think could be real?
Half of it.
So the most ridiculous part of this, you think?
I was gonna say Derpy. Fucking Derpy, I love you, bro. You're so good at this. I don't even know. Derpy, okay, you continue.
Just because it's James Gunn, if he does that weird stuff.
Yep.
But
yeah,
the other half of me says that it's fake because there's been a lot of bullcrap that's been posted on the internet about this movie, especially from the haters that are the Snyder cultists. And it's getting to a point where I want to rant, but I don't want to on here. So
That's fine, dude. That's fine. That's what we're here for, brother.
This is literally
If you want to,
place.
if you need to
This
get
is
something off
literally
your
your place to rant right here,
yep,
bro.
this is your spot.
Me and Chris don't give a shit. Like honestly, we don't give a fuck. You're the one that cares about
you.
this.
I prefer
Yeah,
you.
like you're the one that cares about this shit. Really. So this is
I want to do a face reveal for Derpy. It's
Yeah,
Corbin
you got
Dallas,
me,
my
dang
man. Corbin Dallas, my man. Face reveal, baby.
You got me, dang it.
You're like, dang it. You got me. Dude, as a matter of fact, our boy Jeremy in the comment section, huge Snyder fan. And I'm not joking. He really, really likes the Snyderverse. In the comments,
that's the
Jeremy,
problem.
let us know what you think
He's not
about.
gonna get anything.
Yeah. Jeremy, he's a good friend of mine. Solid dude. But he's a really, really big fan of the Snyderverse. Like he loves that shit. And I respect it because again, yeah. Jeremy, let me know in the comment section if you heard about the rumors of the James Gunn implementing that Superman is fighting cancel culture, the army of monkeys that are writing the articles or whatever, and all that stuff. And tell me what you think about the idea of James Gunn's Superman in general. Like, are you against it? Are you for it? Being that you're more of a Snyder fan, like, do you not want it to succeed, or do you want it to succeed because, Superman? Let me know in the comment section. I really, really want to know. I really, really want to. If you have to write a whole journal, fucking let us know though. But Derpy, your turn. Go ahead, brother. I'm so sorry I cut you.
This one's for you. It does not matter if this movie succeeds or not.
Okay.
You are not going to get the Snyder Cut whatsoever continued. Even if they.
Oh no, the Snyder Cut's done.
Let him go.
Or
Let him
does it succeed? So, your fan base is a pathetic fan base that's stuck in 2013, and you need to move on. There have already been multiple YouTubers that have moved on, but I'm pretty sure Jeremy has not moved on from 2013.
Well, I mean,
wait, hold on. Wait, no, don't digress. You're heating up. You're about to take us out of here. Go ahead. Are you finished? Was that the end? Was that end rant?
Man, I like it.
No, there's probably more, but this is the last chance, and I don't understand why you have to hate James Gunn. I understand his past is his past, but this is literally the last desperate chance, and you got somebody from Marvel, and you don't want to go with it, that know the formula on how to create a universe.
Okay. You're going to have to explain that more, because I understand he did success with James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, but he did a horrible job with the Suicide Squad.
He didn't do a horrible job with the Suicide Squad. That's
well, you can't compare it to the first one, because the first one was horrible too.
Suicide Squad was good. I like it. Both of them were good.
The air cuts was meh. The James Gunn was actually pretty good, because they were villains, and it actually revolved them being a team instead of, hey, are we kind of just some Suicide Squad?
Oh, he said the words. Said the thing.
I did say the thing. The worst writing ever.
Okay. All right. Now we're digressing. Go back to telling the James Gunn fans off. Go ahead. I like that.
Yeah, I really like that.
I like this, Derby. Go ahead. Get it off your chest, bro. Tell them why you're mad.
I'm just upset, and it's just pathetic to me that it really is pathetic to me to think that there are fans out there that still think it's the year 2013.
Okay. I think it's a valid point. I think it's valid.
Listen,
and they want nothing else to just completely crap on this movie so that they can get their stupid universe continued.
I just want to put it out there. This is Derpy Entertainment saying this. Snyderverse fanatics, I don't want any parts of this. I think you guys are wonderful.
I'm with
you guys are good with me.
I like fighting. Bring that shit.
Because these motherfuckers are rabid. So Derpy wants to smoke. I don't want none of that smoke, bro. No, but that's cool.
I understand what Derpy's saying, though.
Okay, I get it.
There was a huge battle for people to come in and defend the James Gunn universe, and I understand it. It was dark, it was gritty, it had its moment. Did I agree with it? Fuck no, dude. I didn't want, again, I think it was super crazy to hear that where it was going was going to be
I want to know too. I want to know too.
The Superman becomes evil because Batman was banging Lois. They have a baby, and Superman has to raise him.
And that's a great example. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
I when I heard that shit, I was like, look.
But you weren't. Well, I was interested to see where that was going. I'm sorry.
But I mean, I understand that because it's different. Because again, it's something that's like, oh shit, like I've never seen this before. But again, that shit's on the dynamic between the Batman Superman friendship. Like they're it's immortal. It's the same thing as Lois Lane. You can't have one without the other, and vice versa. Lois Lane is always protected by Batman. That's why Injustice worked, because he kills Lois Lane and then goes fucking completely mad. And that's the whole concept.
So let me ask you a question. If Superman gets retconned in this movie, are you gonna have the same feeling? You're gonna keep the same energy?
If I get Superman, what was it again?
If there's an aspect of the Kryptonians or Superman that gets retconned, are you gonna have the same energy?
Oh, 100%, Brian. You already know this. I've already talked shit about it a million times. I even talked about it the other time where you told me that you had heard the rumor about Superman having like an invincible entrance where they sent him to Earth, because I think that's stupid as fuck. And I understand that Absolute Superman's going on right now as we speak, but you're not talking at the success of a story. You're talking about because it just got created right now and people like it. And again, it's edgy, it's twisted, it's Superman fucking eating dick or whatever the fuck these new, like the boys, super perverse versions of these characters.
Yeah.
That shit. And Brian, I've told you time and time before that it's creative and it's okay, but nobody does it right because no one has that masterful writing to pull it off. I mean, we talked about it several times. We just saw it. What was it that we were just talking about the other day that you were like, dude, Chris, you're right. Like they fucked it up again. I forgot what it was, but we talked about it with Velma. We talked about it with Mickey Mouse and the Winnie the Pooh. There was something else that someone had got, and you were like, damn, dude, I thought they were going to do good with it. And,
I don't remember.
Yeah, but you remember we were talking about some shit like that, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But again, it's because of the fact that Superman, his character, only dwells right if they stick to the regular concept. You can have and rewrite so many different variations of Superman and do Homelander or the Century or Omni-Man, or you could do all these different variations, but none of them do what Superman's done throughout all the ages, because he just does. It's like Captain America. He just does the right thing. He's boring, and that's it. You just stick to the norm. The moment you start switching it around and making it more relatable, everybody thinks it's relatable, but you lose that prominent storytelling of the person that we want to look up to. You don't have that mentor persona anymore in those characters that you can like pork up on or push up on a pedestal.
Fan, Jeremy.
What's up? Jeremy wrote back. Here we go.
I'm gonna let you. Yeah, I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, let me read this shit. It says, I haven't heard anything about that, but haven't really paid attention to anything DC wise because I was really disappointed with the direction WB went in. DC had such a great plan and direction with all of these characters, the Zack Snyder, all of it together, so we could see the power on screen. We saw the Lanterns, the New Gods, the future DC projects that could happen. I'm not here for anything James Gunn has to offer. DC just picking up Marvel scraps because of the tweets that James Gunn said, which were, and it opens up, but I don't have it yet. I think he's still writing. Oh, where was DC before Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman? Nowhere. DC was dead, buried with no hope, but Zack came in and gave DC a shot in the game.
You saw two movies and you saw. Hold on. Chris,
well, Derpy, let's give him a chance. So
you saw two movies and thought he would be a great director for Batman.
Okay,
Derpy's lit.
Yeah, Derpy's on fire. I want to give Derpy a chance. I'm gonna let him cook.
That is some bull crap, Jeremy. You are not a DC.
But you're gonna have to talk about it though, Derpy. You're gonna have to give us reason. Jeremy's making a good point. That Warner Brothers didn't really have direction in that nature. They were only pushing on Superman, and all the other IPs were disconnected. It's a very good point.
saw 2 movies and said,
Okay.
"Hey, let's make him a director for DC, right, guys?" It's pathetic.
So you don't think that at the time that with James Gunn doing what he did, because one, he has that unfortunate incident that happens in his family, which we're not
Yeah,
really cutting into
I
that. That's
respect
really
that
horrible
though.
news. Yeah,
I
it's really
respect
horrible
that.
news. He gave the reins to Joss Whedon, who used some of the materials that he did to make a film where we hear that not James Gunn, that Zack Snyder's wife, after of course the healing and mourning of their passing of the family member, says, "Look at what they've created and done with your work, and it's not even what you wanted to do. You should go back and get a chance."
Well, here's the thing: none of the W executives there that were there at the time are no longer there. So what's the point, and what are we discussing?
Well, true, true. I mean, they're no longer there, and I don't think there's any call for it to be where. I don't think Jeremy's saying that he wants for Zack Snyder to come back and take over and throw James Gunn off the boat or whatever. I don't think that's what he's saying in this. All he's saying is that's why he's not really interested in the new version that James Gunn's going to do, which again, we all clarified that none of us have any hope in James Gunn. So it adds to his argument that we agreed with that. But he's just saying that he just doesn't feel like he feels that James Gunn's going to do anything. And that he feels that because of the success that he did in Marvel, that's what James Gunn is bringing to DC, and that's the only reason why they hired him, because of that nature.
But to Derpy's point, that's sort of, and I love Jeremy's perspective. And again, I don't have a dog in this race at all. But speaking to Derpy's point, that's a sort of prejudice towards James Gunn. If you call yourself a DC fan, it's about the property. It's not really about who's directing it or whatever. You got to give it a shot if you call yourself a DC fan. I'm not here to question whether or not Jeremy's a DC fan or not. That's not my place. I don't have a dog in this race, but just I see both sides and I see both perspectives. I just think that it's as much about nothing on both sides, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I see that also. And Jeremy says exactly, thank you. So I guess I got that pretty much on the button. So it's not necessarily the fact that he doesn't want James Gunn to succeed. I think he just doesn't care, right? He just doesn't care about where DC's going at all. Is that kind of goes not with the way we perceived it earlier, where we were saying that a lot of the Snyderverse fans, and I'm not saying Jeremy per se is, an equivocated or a equivocated version of the entire fan base of Snyder or whatever. You know what I mean? We're only going on one person's perspective, who instead of hoping for the failure or saying that James Gunn's going to suck and fuck all this DC stuff, he just doesn't really have, like Brian said, a stake in the game. So he's kind of like, it's all right. It is what it is. But Jeremy, let me ask you this. Since you're here, thank you very much. Do you want the movie to succeed? Like, do you want the Superman story and movie to be successful? Minus that, if you don't like James Gunn or not, if that's a purpose, then fine. But do you want the film to succeed? I think that's important too. But Derps, going on with your conversation, man. So here, Jeremy's not really fighting against the James Gunn because he doesn't have any value in it. He's just saying that he preferred the Snyder story. Did you at all like what Snyder was doing? Because I have my opinion, and I can talk about that later. But do you at all like the direction and the vision that he had, that he brought in with the 4-hour Snyderverse cut Justice League?
And don't lie.
Yes, please.
I can break down every single movie if you want me to.
No, just the 4 hours.
Yeah, just your general thoughts on it.
Yeah, and the reason why is because we can go back to every film that he produced and helped with and this and that. But the 4-hour Snyderverse, in my opinion,
all right.
I feel he added everything that he didn't get the opportunity to put in when it first started. And he added a bunch of weird shit because they put a lot of extra cash in that film.
Okay, Derby, go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah.
I thought it was all right. It was an all right, better film than the 2017 one. But there was way too much.
Too much what?
Way for not nonsense, but like just.
I mean, it was
different footage that There was footage that shouldn't be in there that was in there.
I mean, it was a
And
it was a 4-hour movie.
And it was a 4-hour movie that footage shouldn't be in there. And
Okay,
it was
okay. So, was there anything you know, echo to what Chris asked you? Was there anything that you liked about the Zack Snyder verse at all?
maybe.
Oh shit.
So I like Turpy, man.
Maybe anything specific, or just maybe in general you may like it or
Actually,
not?
no, I didn't. There wasn't anything I didn't like about it.
You
Really?
you didn't like Wonder Woman at all? Wonder Woman didn't hit you?
Wonder Woman's all right,
She's
but it was
gorgeous,
just
man. Gal Gadot's so
she
pretty.
can't act.
That was a
I love
fucking
Gal Gadot.
She
I love
couldn't
Gal
act.
Gadot.
And Man of Steel, you weren't a fan of?
Henry
I
Cavill?
liked Man of Steel until the ending, where he could have just trapped him in the Phantom Zone. But you know, we're not classic Superman here.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
We're depressing Superman.
Mm-hmm. No, we're just kind of like breaking down the idea of the Snyderverse thing because, again, my biggest thing about this whole conversation is James Gunn may be able to make a good movie, but he's gonna fuck up the entire franchise because of the way that he comes across it. He could have kept it very simple, done a super simple Superman movie, but he wanted to hit the ground running like Usain Bolt running. I'm not even talking about regular fucking
Right.
jogging running.
I would
He
agree.
hit it going like at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I think he's gonna hit a fucking wall or break his ankle, like right at the beginning.
There is a lot of shit in this movie.
And Brian said this weeks ago, and it makes a really good point. Like he's got to hit it. He's got to hit it right, not fast. If he doesn't hit it right, the worst thing that can happen is he shits the bed, messes up the entire Superman movie, and everyone loses faith in fucking James Gunn with the DC universe because it's not just Superman.
And you're not a DC fan, Jeremy. You're
Okay.
a fan. You're not a
So-
DC fan.
So listen, to take it off of the tirade of Jeremy, I will say this. He doesn't necessarily have to knock it out the park. The very least he has to do with this movie is make it so you want to see the next property. If he can't do that, then all of my concerns would be validated. Like I'm not asking for him to make $1 billion movie, although I think that should have been a layup. I'm having my concerns
Superman.
and my reservations as to whether or not he can do this with what I'm hearing. But he doesn't necessarily have to do that for me. Again, he already has my money, which helps me in my position in saying that although I can have my concerns, I'm still a DC fan. So he already has my money. I'm sure he's got, Chris's money. And he's already, of course, he's got Derby's money. He doesn't necessarily have to knock this out of the park. He just has to not shit the bed. And that's what it's come down to. He just has to not shit the bed. And from what we're hearing from, going back to the topic, from what we're hearing,
hurting that shit.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah,
Bro,
and that's pretty much my point of view.
Bot Monkeys is wild, Derpy.
What if
That
they're
is
Gorilla Gods?
wild.
What's up, Derpy?
What if they're Gorilla Grods?
Listen,
okay, Derpy. I'm glad you bring this up because if he doesn't do that, that's the number one shit the bed point. Because you by yourself already know that there is an excuse to have that monkey army.
Let me just say one more thing about this. Let me just say one more thing about this. If this is true and it got out and he's heard everyone laughing at this and he didn't take it out and then we watch this movie and it's still in there
and it's bad,
it's a wrap, dog. It's over.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Can you imagine? Because Derpy hit it right on the button. Because that's the one thing that I've been thinking about this whole time that no one's mentioned is what if it's the program that's the Gorilla Grodd program where they're starting a bunch of smart monkeys? We all know this. And even though you see what Brian's doing is exactly what the consensus is going to do. They're going to roll their eyes and say, that's stupid fucking cheap writing. That's like you're just putting it in there because you can. There's no creative knowledge put into this. And that's the problem with it is because it's not creative. You could have just done AI. You could have done Brainiac, dude. That's more of a Superman IP. You know what I mean? You could have just done a bunch of stupid shit that way.
In the introductory movie to the DC universe, I don't need that there. I told you, this is a layup. This should have been a layup, bro. You don't
I need
have
him
to.
to.
You don't
I
have
need
to
him
over.
to save an old lady.
You don't have to overthink this,
I need
man.
him to get a cat out of a tree. I need him to stop an asteroid.
Yeah.
I need him to save Lois from falling off a building. I don't give a fuck.
Over
What
or
building.
plane. Give me a
Or plane. Yeah.
Give
Catch a
me a
plane
plane.
like the Brandon Roth movie.
Catch a plane. Yeah.
Remember when he caught the plane?
Yep.
I just need him to do those, put his fists on his hips, and stand and let the cave blow. That's all I fucking need, bro. That's all I need. If he goes out there and says, you know what, I've been battling herpes,
The undefeated champ.
You know, yeah. If he's gonna go through some like mental shit, if he's gonna be like, you know what, dude, I can fucking
Superman battling herpes is wild.
Yeah, dude, I can fly into the middle of the sun, but I'm
It
so
probably
depressed.
was. It probably was a comic though.
Yeah, you already know, Brian. You already know, and the reason why you're laughing is because you don't see it far fetched right now. You're like, not bad. He can fly into the middle of the sun, and he's like, man, but I'm so depressed that people don't like me. I'm like, bitch, you can stand in the sun, like, what does it fucking matter what humans think of you? You could do anything that other people just cannot do. Some of us have to sit in a fucking garden and cross our feet and take deep breaths just to be happy. And this motherfucker can fly and be in space and do this shit. And you're gonna tell me he's gonna be depressed because of some social media shit? Like, come on, guys. Like, that's whack, dude. That's whack.
I don't need my Superman sad because he was cyberbullied.
I don't. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
That's
Jeremy, and then we gotta wrap it up.
Jeremy says, whatever it is, honestly, it's whatever to me. If it does great, good for DC. But I could just care less. James Gunn can literally eat a bag of dicks. I bet you he has.
And so that right there with that statement is
not a DC fan.
It's not even about DC. It's more about James Gunn, and that's and going to my point. That's the hurdles you're gonna run into when you hire a guy like James Gunn. There's gonna be a lot of people that, again, he's an acquired taste. He's not gonna be for everyone.
Yeah. So what do you think when we're talking about it needing to be successful and needing to not shit the bed, knowing that the people, even in the way we talked about it earlier, want Superman to be okay, but James Gunn does not have any footway to do dumb shit. And he already added a fucking army of monkeys typing stupid shit in the internet. And, like, as a story plot.
But see, that's where James Gunn is going to run into a really big issue. Is that although I don't need him to hit it out the park to get people like Jeremy on board, he has to hit it out the park.
He does. Yep.
Like, if he gives a mid movie, he's not gonna pull a guy like Jeremy in. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So I really hope that he's got something up his sleeve, and all these rumors and leaks that we're hearing, and they're just bullshit, because from what I'm hearing, he's not gonna pull in the naysayers or the people that are on the fence. He's not gonna do it.
Yep. It needs everybody.
Yeah.
Really needs everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And going on, we're going to talk about our next thing. But before we go, I think it's very important to understand that I think this movie needs some, easy to say, hope that you could possibly see it a second time. Like that opportunity to go into it, be good enough that you would want to spend money to see it twice. Because a lot of the films that have been coming out recently are all doing one time, one go, and that's it. Only the smaller films, like we talked about earlier, the smaller films are the ones that are getting more opportunities, that are being better than the AAA movies. You know, we just saw, Brian, we talked about this after, no talking about the movies themselves, but we went and we all saw the Thunderbolts individually. Mm. And I tried to call you, and you were like, nah, dude, I just got out of the movie. It was okay, but I needed to see the accountant too, because I needed a palate cleanser. Yeah. That was you telling me that even though you said, the movie was all right,
Jeremy,
I need to watch a better movie because that was a shitty experience. That's really what you said, right? Just fucking putting it out there in a very crispy term, right? Like just a fucking very straight.
I'll revisit that statement because it's somewhat correct. Maybe I was just expecting a little bit more from what I got from Thunderbolts, but I needed something. Yeah. I needed something to jumpstart my. I went in hoping to get an adrenaline rush, and I just didn't get that.
I think we all kind of did.
Yeah,
I think we all kind of did when it came to the Thunderbolts film. And for me to hear that coming out of the film, I was kind of like, Why I'm mad at you?
Mhm.
I kind of agree. We sat there in the theater for like an extra hour just shit talking it, and every minute that went by, I kind of disagreed with myself from the first experience
Mhm.
a little more as I
I
sat on
saw
it. Right?
that. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
but we're gonna sit and
We'll
we're
get
gonna
into
talk
it.
about it, and I
Yeah.
think that's a very important thing because you have to remember these studios all have numbers, big ass teams of analytic people. They know what people want. They know algorithms. They know like Derpy said, they know how to advertise. They know this shit.
Mhm.
They're not pulling the resources for that. They're not pulling the resources for that, and that should scare us because they're doing that on purpose. They're not putting money into those things on purpose because they're like, well, James Gunn said, don't pay attention to those guys because he's going to do his own thing and it's going to work. So let's just go with it. I think that's very important for us to pay attention to. Also, we want Superman to be successful, but James Gunn really needs to pull his fucking weight. Like he needs to pull his creative weight, not his fucking I'm a cool director weight. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Derp, do you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah, my man. My man, Jeremy, I always appreciate you in the comment section, even
Yes,
though
sir.
Derpy was a
Thanks,
little bit
Jeremy.
mean. Yeah, even though Derpy
I
was a
love
little
that
mean.
interaction. I
No,
love that
I'm not
interaction.
being mean. I'm being realistic.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah, no,
I don't think Jeremy is taking it personally, bro. I don't think so at all.
And not only that, Jeremy came in with a fucking banger right now and said it.
Yeah, thank you for
Sinners is
that.
killing it right now, and I 100% agree.
I could care less.
100% agree.
That is going to be a Thunderbolts issue. Is that going to be our next? I'm sorry, I don't want to jump ahead.
Well, I mean, we could talk Thunderbolts if you want. We're only here for a couple more minutes. I have 4 topics.
Yeah.
Last of Us is still on the table. Doomsday theories. I mean, we can deal without that. That's going to deal with the Thunderbolt situation when we get to a little bit of the spoiler talk.
Mhm.
Anyways, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to, we don't talk about Doomsday theory. The only Doomsday theory I have is I really think they're going to do the Century Hyperion Thor thing. They talked about it already. Someone made a real comment, and I've been calling it for years, baby. Been calling it for years that we're going to get our fucking time runs out scene.
Mhm.
I just hope they do it right because I think Chris Hemsworth really fucking deserves it with the shit he had to deal with Thor: Love and Thunder. Like I think he deserves a really good letting off. Robert says, I can't wait, Chris. We were crying during the trailer of Superman in IMAX.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's because my eyes were burning from all the bullshit on the screen. But
I can see
you were like holding my hand. Is the Rob so beautiful? Yeah, dude, pretty much. It was so funny going with Rob. Biggie, shout out to Biggie. He was my date. We went to go see fucking Thunderbolts together, and we went with a friend of ours. Or a friend of Rob's. Oh, we got as a matter of fact, right here, dude. Got the cool MVP, whatever this is, a little keychain. Brian, did you get anything cool from the film? Did they give you anything?
I wasn't because I wanted to go to the earliest showing so I can watch Accountant afterwards. So I didn't go to the fan showing. I went to the regular first.
Do I need to send this to you? Do you need one of these?
You know what? I think I'm gonna be okay with the fucking Thunderbolts keychain. I'm
like
doing that, bro.
Please
don't
don't.
keep
For the
that.
love of God,
Add that to the collection, bro.
Yeah, you do what
You can
you need.
keep that. I appreciate the gesture.
People buying a fucking $49 limo, dude. The fucking the popcorn bucket. In my mind, I was like, why is it a fucking popcorn bucket? Could they not do a helmet? Could they not do a fucking? I don't know.
I saw that. It was
Black
like a
Widow
whole
hand.
I think it was like a $40 deal where you get like candy, the popcorn, the drink, and then you get like the collectors. But it was like a regular fucking popcorn box though, like thing though.
Yeah. The cups were nice.
It's like 40 fucking dollars,
the cups were nice, but I don't feel like that team was like the Ghostbusters team. Like it's not like let me really put cash into this.
Okay,
but,
we're already here. We're already here.
Get to it. You know what I mean? I mean, we're already this deep in conversation, guys. Marvel Thunderbolts released May. When was it? Like May? It was
last Thursday.
Last Thursday. We are here now. We got to see it. All of us are caught up. I know there's some people in the videos comments that probably haven't seen it, so we'll talk non-spoilers first, and then we'll go into fucking spoilers as we always do, and we'll give people a minute so that they understand. So so boys, here we go, boys. Marvel Thunderbolts released. Really, really cool. We got some introductions and got some revisits to a bunch of characters. Brian, I didn't get to talk to you about it. So I know you probably have a lot to say about it. Derpy, though. Derpy has acknowledged the fact that he's not really like a big Marvel fan. Right, Derps?
Yes.
So did you got to see the Thunderbolts, though, right?
I do support Marvel, but I'm not that big of a Marvel fan.
Yeah. You saw the movie too, though, right?
Yes.
I'm going to let you, non-spoilers, take the reins on the first part of this, because I know you're probably not. You're going to do a Corbin Dallas. Probably give us like small little cliff notes.
Multipass.
Yeah, little Dallas multipass. You give us a small cliff note of what you thought of the movie, and I know probably in the overarching story you're kind of like, well, I don't really give a shit about these guys. So I know you're probably going to be real simple about it. So Derps, you go first, man. What do you think? Non-spoilers. What do you think about the movie?
As a non-Marvel glazing fan,
No glizin.
it wasn't that bad. It was
Oh,
actually pretty entertaining.
okay. What were some of the things that you liked, man?
I liked Florence Pugh's character. As I forget her name, but I really did like her character.
Yelena.
Yeah.
Did you not like her character before this movie, or did you just didn't care?
Not before. I didn't like her character. Not before.
Oh,
so
shit.
this movie kind of brought you around to her character.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Positive.
Will I see it again? Probably not.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah,
but I was entertained.
Good shit. Good shit. Anybody else that you liked in the film? Any other characters that you liked?
The Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, baby.
Good call.
Good fucking call, man. Good call.
I forget it.
David Harbour.
David Harbour, yeah.
I think he's just a great guy, right? Like everybody just loves him by now.
Right.
Stranger Things dad.
DC, and Marvel.
So good stuff. All right.
Good call.
What about the Golden Guardian guy? What about this dude?
Man, that shit was weak.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. So we got some stuff to talk about when it comes to the spoiler stuff. So good. So overall gist of it, scale of 1 to 10. When you walked right out of this theater until now, what did you give it, man?
Well, I know you guys gave it 7 out of 10. I was actually thoroughly entertained. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, very nice. Hey, that's pretty cool. For not even being a DC fan, felt that it was entertaining enough to be out of an 8 out of 10. Or being a Marvel fan, right?
Yep.
Not being a Marvel fan.
I just didn't like the ending.
Yeah, and we'll bust that up in spoilers. Guys, right now we're talking non-spoilers Thunderbolts, so thank you guys if you're joining us. Appreciate every one of you. Brian.
Sir.
My man. Non-spoilers.
Give
it to us, baby. Give it to us.
I'm going to make this very short and sweet. I'm going to hit you guys with a couple of numbers really quick before, and because my review, especially non-spoilers, is going to be really quick. As of right now, the Thunderbolts Rotten Tomato score, critics, it's going to be at an 88%, which is possible. The audience score is at a 94%, which is really good. And
I figure.
Look at that.
Movie score, which is really good. For so basically what the score is when it comes to like the A+, B+, whatever, it kind of dictates on repeat viewings. So the higher, the better the score kind of dictates whether or not there's gonna be a lot of people to see it again. I'm kind of skeptical about the A-. I don't think, as to Derpy's point, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people that are going to rush back out to see this. And I was going to say that there was a comment in there, I think from Jeremy, that said that Sinners is killing it. Sinners is going back to IMAX on the 15th.
Deserved it.
So that's going to cut into a lot of the Thunderbolts steam. And right now, box office numbers are out. For the first week, it racked up 76 million, which is about 12 million behind Captain America 4. It's on pace. It's kind of in the realm of Shang-Chi and Eternals. So that's what we're dealing with with Thunderbolts. So that's just the numbers that we're looking at right now, which, it's the fact that it's behind Captain America is not boding well for the legs on this movie. So you take that with however you want. How I felt about the movie, numbers aside, I thought it was okay. I thought it was mid, but it kept me entertained enough to not shit on it. I guess if you will, if that makes any sense.
That's fair, Brian.
Yeah, I think that I could have used a little bit more action. I could have used a little bit more Sentry. I think
Yeah.
what they did in the first 10 minutes to one of the characters was fucking insane, and we'll talk about it in the spoilers. Um, I think that the Winter Soldier Bucky, I thought he was extremely underused. And I will agree with Derpy that Red Guardian is probably no. There's two standouts for me in this movie. Bob, three. Bob, Red Guardian, and Ghost. Those three kind of made this movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't looking forward to Ghost in this movie, but I think she, even the little bit of time she was in it, I thought she was used to the best of her ability, to the best of her abilities, and I thought they execute that well. And the complete opposite with Bucky, he was just there, dude. Like I don't know the real reason why Bucky was even in this movie. To be honest with you, he did absolutely fucking nothing. Walker, I think that was kind of like I think Walker in this movie was kind of a waste. I think that if you didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, the Disney Plus show, you're not gonna you're gonna be lost with with Walker. I think that they kind of dropped the ball on him. But Bob, Red Guardian, and Ghost, those were the three. If I were gonna give it a score, depending on the day, I kind of toggle between 6 or 7, but just to be on the positive side, I give it a 7 out of 10. Chris?
So my review for this, non-spoilers, is probably going to be in the same format as Brian's, except the fact that I just think that the movie didn't have a good story. I think for what it's worth, it was very just weak. This is exactly what James Gunn probably should have done with the Suicide Squad. Like, this is how safe he should have done it. Because what James Gunn did is he just went out and threw, Staryu and, changed the Will Smith's character and did just a bunch of random shit with a bunch of random characters, killed off a bunch of randos and did some weird shit, and then had like a dance and a musical number. And, he just did James Gunn shit, right? But this movie was a very safe version of bringing a bunch of like misfits together for an adventure. It was a very safe variation. But Brian is absolutely correct. Bucky's character was
he was there just to get roasted.
He was a joke. Like they've really taken the character and made him into a joke. Remember that this guy was one of the most feared assassins in the entire world one time. Yep. And now a politician is like, bro, just fucking read some papers or whatever, bro. Get a fucking, fucking use your brain. Stop being a bitch. You know what I mean? Like literally just talking mad shit to this dude that he knows could probably just fucking crush his head with his fucking vibranium hand. Mm-hmm. It's weird to understand that that's where they've taken this character, that now he's eating a chalupa, dropping ketchup on his fucking t-shirt, looking like a fucking loser. And Bucky's not a fucking loser in the comic books. And if you're going to tell me he is, please show me where you're not reading them.
Not even that, but he's not even a loser in the MCU.
None of this movie, none of this. Even the fucking Disney Plus show treated him better.
Yeah.
Treated him better.
Yes, I was going to say that. Absolutely. You're right.
This movie literally moved everyone apart so that Florence Pugh could cry on film really cool. Like that's all she really did.
Fair.
Like that's all she did. All the other shit that she's done better in other stuff. Action wise, she did it better in the Black Widow movie. Comedy wise, she did better in Kate Bishop or the Hawkeye show. Now you have her here, and all she does is cry about, I'm a loser, I'm a nobody. It's like, okay, and like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Like, what does the character want then? Does she want a family? She got that at the end of Black Widow. They already established that. Like, what do you want more? Like, where does this character go from here? That's all I'm saying. Red Guardian was absolutely fantastic. It was fun. I laughed every moment he was in, even though that's all he did. He never added to the story other than tapping Black Widow on the shoulder, Yelena, like, hey, it's okay. You're going to be okay. Thunderbolts. You know what I mean? Like, all right, dude, fine. Fuck. I mean, I didn't really expect more from that because it's so crazy to see. And it's kind of fun, though, that you're seeing a character developed through a communist country becoming more of like a capitalist guy. he likes to do all the brandings and wants to be famous and wants to be cool and like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's funny. It's witty. It's kind of like, okay, I see where this character is kind of going. He's going to climb this thing and then go right back to where he was because he needs to get back to his roots. I get it. Like I see the writing, right? The character Brian's talking about in the first 10 minutes. I absolutely agree. I think that character got shit on super bad, but the previous movie that the character was established in, I think they sucked it when they introduced her introduced them anyways.
Yeah, but the whole movie was about this character, though.
The advertisement, right? The advertisement was about that character. But like the reason why I say this is because every other IP that's been done with this character in the last like 4 years has been done very good. Animated, video game, cartoons. They've all done this character extremely fucking well. And then they put it in live action and they were like, hey, you know, it'd be really cool if we fucking made him a dead Black Widow and fucking, you know, did all this other shit. Right. So I was kind of, when it happens, I was like, all right, sure. Thanks, dude. Like, I guess it was so, what's even crazier is it's so out of pocket how they handled it though. So out of pocket because you don't name Brian Derpy. Name me one other time Marvel has ever done this to a character. Name me one time. And it doesn't be not be T'Challa,
and it not mean anything too. That I think that's what shocked us is that it doesn't mean anything. It just happens and then it's over, and they don't even dwell on it or acknowledge it. It's just we're just on to the next. I think it's safe to say it's not a spoiler or anything. Like we're not gonna say what happens, but we're talking about Taskmaster, and something happens to Taskmaster, and she was although a lot of people rag on Black Widow, she was, you know, kind of cool in her fighting abilities in Black Widow, and none of that was on display in this movie.
Yeah. Not only that, it's like she just fucking got fired.
Yeah.
That's what it fucking felt like. It felt like they just fired this chick. But yeah, I thought that was really out of pocket. Who else? I can't even remember. Oh, Ghost did very well. You're absolutely correct. I think it was cool. I hated the fact that they already had an answer for her power. Like every time that they wanted to utilize her, like they were just like, oh, shockwave, boom. And they were like, she just like lays there. But her dynamic with US Guardian Walker was really, really good when they worked together. Like the banter that they fed off of each other, and then him saving her saving him, them fighting each other, them arguing. I thought they did very, very well together. Yeah. In fact, I think the entire ensemble did well together. Like all of them interacting with each other did extremely well. I enjoyed every moment that they were bouncing off ideas off of each other. But whoever wrote the story itself was just like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like that was bad. They used all of these people incorrectly. Yeah. What's her name? Valentina Devante. Pretty good, pretty fun. Really stupid at the end though. Really, really stupid how they handled like all the way she just kind of walked around and did shit or stuff. Like I didn't really care for it. And then the last one, of course, the Sentry. Really cool to see in person, but very, very handled incorrectly. Like handled incorrectly in the sense of like what it is that we're dealing with as a character. And rather than
here, Derpy. This is where this guy's nerdy shit's about to come out. And
yeah. But then again, it's like I said, like I mean, we talked about it before. Like by now, we got to understand that we're not going to get what comes in the comic books.
No, but elaborate. I know we're still in non-spoiler.
We're non-spoiler.
I kind of want you to kind of elaborate, being that, you know, it's kind of well known that you are a Sentry guy. Like you're a Sentry guy. So again, non-spoilers. How did you feel in a little bit of detail how he was handled in general, being a fan?
Well, okay, so I want to talk about this, and the easiest example I can give is Kang the Conqueror, right? Okay. In recent years, Kang the Conqueror has been established on what he can and can't do. Yeah. Like, you know, it's been very detailed within like the last 10 years. Yeah. And in comic book years, that's like, it hasn't had enough time to cook. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not something where you're like, oh, that's a masterpiece. Yeah. You're going to be like, oh, well, I mean, it's there. You know, the audience still hasn't really cut into it. The people that buy comic books still kind of dwelling on it. And a lot of stories are still unfolding in the last 10 years. The Sentry is one of those characters. Even cheaper than that, it's smaller because he's been a smaller, tighter character that's been established since like 2015, 2016, 2018. and they still haven't got his powers right. So when they went into this film, they just gave him everything.
But doesn't he have? I mean, not to.
That's only by certain writers, only by certain people who get the opportunity. Then they add some weird shit.
Okay, but when you describe Sentry, you describe him as Superman, right? Like as a parallel, you describe him as Superman, though, right?
Yeah, but he would totally destroy the fuck out of Superman.
Fair enough, but
Yeah.
the easiest, let's say somebody has no idea who the fuck Sentry is, your easiest comparison would be just to say he's like the Marvel.
He's like Superman, right? He's
Yeah,
Marvel's
right?
version of Superman. Which
And
would
you
be
don't think
Flight.
you don't think that was displayed in the movie?
Well, flight,
Mhm.
superhuman strength,
Yeah,
speed, right?
yeah.
Teleportation,
Hmm.
telekinesis,
Okay.
some form of what is it, like a psychic ability to be able to get now into people's brains by touch and stuff.
Telekinesis.
Yeah, telekinesis. That's telekinesis. No, telekinesis is moving things, isn't it?
It's still moving your brain to do shit.
Yeah.
It's telekinesis.
Well, he doesn't displace those three unless they're in specific stories that people just get out of whack, which people kind of go overboard to be like, well, you don't know, maybe he does.
Okay.
So now it's established that he has all of these, which makes him a very much a Peter Petrelli hero's character. And what do I mean by that? Right? Peter Petrelli in the TV show Heroes was this character that could steal anyone's powers within a mile radius and then stack them.
Yeah.
Eventually you get to a point to you're like, okay, well, who's going to be his villain? Like, who's going to beat this guy?
Yeah.
Like, who? Like, you bring anyone within a mile radius and he instantly takes out their power plus the powers he already stole. Eventually, as a writer, you can't do anything with this character. That's the problem with Sentry. Is the
Okay,
Sentry
but you don't think
does not have a
you
good
don't
definitive story. The only one that was a good definitive story dealt with that he was so powerful and that the Void was so powerful that they had to do what they did to Peter Parker and do that for the Sentry.
Okay. Just I don't want to I don't want to cut you off, but
Yeah.
just because I don't want you to get too far down the line, 'cause I know you can talk about this for a while. But you said that he was so OP that you couldn't really do much with him, and you don't think that was accomplished in this movie? You don't think they accomplished the fact that this character is OP and we're gonna have to start thinking about what we're gonna do about this?
Oh,
this
100%.
issue?
Yeah, no, that's the same thing. But what's the difference between him and that girl from Secret Invasion?
I don't think that's a good parallel. I think, I mean, she just had the all right. So she had the powers of
all the Avengers powers.
of all the Avengers
Thanos
powers,
and
but
Groot.
they went out of their way in this movie to explain that Sentry is stronger than all of the Avengers combined. So it's like it's differentiating power sets, and I think they did a good job at that. And again, I'm not here to combat you because again, you're more of a fan than I am. So
But I was going to say, like,
if they
in the sense of it, we talked about it too. After Secret Invasion, that girl was way stronger than the Avengers, also.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then not only that, this movie just gave us a Hulk that doesn't change green. Like, it's the same character, he just doesn't turn green.
I think okay,
because the Void isn't explained as a cosmic destructive being. It's just his bad side, which is Bruce Banner and the Hulk. That's literally Bruce Banner and the Hulk. And they literally have Yelena, Black Widow, that's like, the sun's going real dark. Sun's going real dark. Like, literally.
Well, that's, I mean, but Chris, like, that's going to be the only way this group of heroes are going to be able to do. Like, there's not one person that's going to be able to overpower this guy. So they're going to have to find a creative way to do that, to shoot them a little bit of bail. Like, come on.
Because if they did it like they did in the comic, he would just fly away like Icarus did.
They're not doing the comics.
That's all he would do. He would just fly away like Icarus. And the reason why they're not going to do that now, what's up, Miguel? Good to see you, buddy. The reason why they're not going to do that with his character is because they need that Hyperion character to be there. Remember, we talked about this. Their time runs out. He needs to be somewhere amongst these people.
Yeah.
He can't just, like, in every comic book of the century, and you can look it up, whenever he does something ultimately fucked up, he just takes off. He does what the Hulk does.
Yeah,
they just fly him out and he just disappears. If not, Null tears him in half. Then Jane Foster goes and gets him out of purgatory to bring him back because he's so important, because they can't write a good, consistent story. So, I mean, if you want, I think my overall arcing thing was they did the Sentry okay. but they didn't establish enough as to what we're really getting as a character who has a definitive, like, cosmic middle was like a middle. What's the dude from Shang-Chi, the one in the in-betweener demon or whatever, the one that's in the mountain?
Oh, I can't remember the name.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? That's
Yeah.
literally what the Void is, but on a multiversal scale. So he's that big of a demon that he turns into. And the only thing that they did was they made it seem like, oh shit, he's having a bad day. He's depressed and like, we'll calm him down or whatever. That's what the Void is supposed to be. And I understand that they gave us a really good description of what a split personality disorder is, but they didn't give us a distinct personality of a split personality being a complete other, like, multiversal world-ending demon that's in him. Nobody knows what the Void is still. It's just I just think it's his alter ego. Like, I don't think it's its own entity. That's the problem.
But then, and just to give a little bit of pushback, I think that if they did dive more into the split personality and mental disorder aspect, you might risk the chance of losing people. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people aren't gonna want to follow that. So I think they kept it on the cusp of keeping it still light and digestible for most people, and they didn't get too deep into it. They don't want to depress people the fuck out with the mental disorder aspect of it.
Yeah, but I think just people are looking at the way the Void concept is like when a wrestler puts a wrestling mask on.
And I think for the general public, that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to work when it all comes to fruition and they're like, wait a minute. So the Void is actually a thing. Holy shit.
I think it's more digestible just to keep it as this guy has multiple personalities and one of them is just a fucking pain in the ass. It doesn't have to dive deeper into it. And I think that they, for what it was, again, one of my pet peeves about the movie is that I could have used more of it. I could have, like you said, I could have had more fleshed out. But I think from Marvel's perspective, they weren't trying to bum people out to to a certain
I just think they wanted to go a safe route and they wanted
to
make it
safe, exactly. They went a safe route.
They wanted the Sentry to be a relatable character to the to Yelena and being the Void because they needed Sentry doesn't have kryptonite.
Yelena had more of a mental health issue than fucking
than the Void
Sentry.
kid. Than Robert Reynolds. But again, he doesn't have a kryptonite. He doesn't have a kryptonite. Superman has a kryptonite. You have a reason that you have a way that you could put it in his lap, and when he's a bad dog, you could beat the fuck out of him. The Sentry doesn't have that in comic books. You needed to bring Null to rip him in half. You know what I mean? So what do you do with a character like, again, a Peter Petrelli that has no weakness? You got to just write him out.
The same thing with what you said about how you're going to defeat him. You got to have a kill switch, which they literally have. I'm sorry,
the Beyonders.
Spoiler alert, but fair enough. To be honest, but they're not introduced, and there would have been no way for them to defeat him in this movie. So I think they had to have a kill switch. They did, and it is what it is. And again, I respect your perspective because you are a bigger fan than me. I just think from a casual fan of Sentry, they had to do something because that guy is OP, brother.
Yeah. This is why I like the guys in the comment section are fans and stuff, and everybody that watches. Gia, I totally forgot that girl's name because of how relevant she was in the stories. But thank you, Vince, for bringing it up. Gia is the Earth's mightiest hero.
Unfortunately,
I ain't gonna lie, man. You are absolutely correct.
R.I.P.
Miguel asks, did anyone participate in Free Comic Book Day yesterday? I didn't, but of course I saw a bunch of my friends online going out there doing some great things. My friend Jessica went out there dressed as Captain Marvel, fucking went out there, comic books and got comics, and I love that stuff, man. Miguel, did you get to go? Let us know. And Elizabeth, what is up? San Antonio the house, Liz? Says, I think more bipolar than split personality disorder. Again, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Because her as a person that's going and seeing the movie, seeing it as a casual and not really dwelling too deep into the character, she sees it the same way that I saw it, which I think they did injustice. Because again, bipolar deals with a person having mental episodes that change their emotional trauma, right? Whereas split personality is a complete characterization change that sometimes people forget which one is the original person, very Legion, right? Legion and stuff. But Legion has like not the Purple Man, but the Nightmare Man or whatever.
Yeah.
But you understood that character as a total split version in that person. And that's where I feel like they kind of didn't really, but maybe later on.
So in the comics, it's split. It is split personality, correct? Because in this movie, it's like Liz's point. It is more bipolar. It's just like on a whim on how he feels at that certain time. Is depending on which version of Bobby you're gonna get.
Yeah. Because even the concept of it, it's three people. It's Bobby, the Sentry and then the Void. Yeah. All of them coming together, and they all compartmentalize in one of the comic books and become literally like the strongest version of the Sentry. Yeah. And they only could write like one comic because they didn't know where to take it.
Yeah.
So they struggled even with that. It was a cool comic book because he fucked everybody up. Villains, the Avengers, he fucked everybody up. But they just couldn't do anything with it. But you know what? I was gonna say, I see. I feel
we're dancing around it. Let's just get straight into it, guys.
On it. Guys, let's get right into spoilers. I'm gonna give a 10-second little countdown just to give people the opportunity. If you don't want to hear spoilers for the Thunderbolts, we're gonna go ahead and talk a bit, but you guys can come back. We're gonna give it a good amount of time.
Don't leave, just mute us.
Yeah, even better. Like, don't take off. Stay with us a little bit. Help us with the views. Make us look cool. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7,
you got a real countdown.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Banger, baby. Let's go. So we have now spoilers talk for the Thunderbolts. Let me make the banner just so people know when they come in. Brian, you want to give it? Go for it, bro.
Yeah, just to comment on Liz, she's making some really good points. She said, so he's Moon Knight in the comics. Yeah. Oh no. In this movie, I think in the MCU, I think Moon Knight expresses more split personality.
They did him good.
Yeah, than Sentry. But listen, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, man. I think what they did to Taskmaster was fucking insanity. I don't like it. And this is coming from a person that really doesn't give a shit about the character. I just think that she could have been done a little bit
they
better.
Dicked her bad, dude.
Yeah, being that she was the main focus on a whole movie.
Black Widow.
Yeah, I just think that was a disservice. And then again, it was unceremoniously. It was just she was shot, and then that was just it. And they didn't even like acknowledge it. Really, they just went on. That was one of the issues that I had. The other issue again was I needed more Sentry, dude. The fight scene with Sentry was the highlight of the movie for me. Yeah. I could have used a little bit more of that, maybe even earlier in the movie. But those are my only two issues, to be honest with you. Again, I enjoyed it for what it was. It's kind of on par with like the regular MCU movies that we've been getting. It didn't blow my socks off. So again, I give it a 7 out of 10. The spoiler at the end, I kind of already knew what it was. So it didn't really shake me up, but it is pretty cool. I think it's probably one of the better reasons to go actually watch this movie. Yeah, I think that's all that I have to say about spoilers. Those are my only two issues.
I mean, I'm kind of like in the same boat. I actually didn't like the after credits scene. I didn't like the spoiler too well, and I don't like the directions in the way that they're going with the Thunderbolts, which is like the new Avengers shit. And then they kind of gave them like the whole what was it? The Battlestar character makeover, the one from the
One more thing.
Yeah.
I just remembered. They in Dark Avengers. Yeah. It's Norman is Norman Osborn.
Yeah, that's Valentina.
Yeah, that Valentina took over that part, and then they made up some bullshit company called Oxcorp, which was fucking like why not just make a deal with Sony and just tease and have the company called Oscorp. And just like that would have been
Ox and Oz are almost like synonymous.
It's like
you got Triggs. Look at Triggs coming in, man. Still at work.
Right on time.
No, you just made it right on time.
No, I actually just finished making like dinner for for my wife.
Oh yeah, what'd you
I
make?
see that Papa
John's? I
John's
see that
box
in the
back there,
dude.
bro. You
Oh,
ain't make you ain't cook no food, bro. You ordered out tonight, bro.
He ordered up Papa John's and shit. He's like, yeah, look what I made, babe. Look at all the struggle. That's
Fuck
just
with me.
Papa John's
Okay.
out of the blender.
All
Fuck with
right.
me.
He
Fuck
was
with
like,
me,
yo,
dude.
That's
he's
just
like,
Papa
put
Yeah,
some
John's
fuck with me.
pasta, bitch.
put some respect
Yeah,
on my name.
yeah. Fuck with
Put
me.
some
What's up?
respect on my name.
Yeah.
I
Hey
fuck
man, I
with
ain't
it.
gonna lie, Papa
I
John's
fuck
is
with
good.
it.
The shakaroni or
Yeah.
whatever they got that shit going
The
on. I'm with it.
shakaroni.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
You look
Yeah.
like
Great.
you love
You
your
just walked
shakaroni.
into the spoiler discussion
Yeah,
for
dude.
Thunderbolts. We're here. Derpy, Brian, and I are here. What's up, brother?
All right, so believe it or not, I finally did get to see the movie, but I'm actually gonna see it in theaters in like no shit a half hour or like
Ooh,
an hour.
perfect.
But yeah, but like I do know what happens. I have seen the movie. I saw the movie elsewhere.
Hey,
But I'm finally gonna see it in theaters, and I finally get to have like the full theater experience
nice.
for it. So like, yeah, dude. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Well, we already got our we already got stuff off our chest. What
Okay.
did you when you saw it the first time and all that stuff? What were your spoiler? What were your ratings on it?
So my initial rating, I'm gonna give it a very, very solid 8. Very, very solid 8.
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know what, dude? And like for me, the movie hit certain like it checked off certain boxes for me. But you know what, dude? Like another thing is, and like maybe this is like a bit of a relatable sense, especially when it comes to like, Robert Reynolds, Bob as,
Yeah.
the Sentry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, is like is mental health, dude.
Mhm.
Like well, like with him, it's a big mental health game. This guy, he was a huge drug addict. I've been a drug addict. He was, has
He's
a lot of
exposing.
mental health. He has a lot of mental health, issues. I can somewhat relate. This guy feels a certain type of way about himself sometimes, and I can understand, and I can, relate to that.
Relate.
So yeah, so for me, like not to like be like, oh, this guy's super duper relatable, but like, hey man, like when it came to certain scenes in the movie, I was like, yeah, yeah, I get it.
Okay,
I can see that.
Tricks, let me ask you a question. Being
What's good?
you're kind of in the same boat with Chris. Well, first let me ask you, are you a big Century fan in general? Like, do you think the character's
I, th-
cool or
I I think he has more potential than the writers ever give him.
gave him? And that's what Chris was saying.
Yeah. The
Okay.
no one, like there are very, very few Century stories that are like, oh my God. Like you
Yeah.
could count on one hand how many times the Century has ever been like magnanimous
Yeah.
in the comics,
Yeah.
and I personally can count them for mine. One
Mhm.
is Siege, tearing
Of
apart,
course. Yeah.
Ares. Second is actually in King in Black,
King
where
and
he
Black.
gets torn
Yep.
apart,
Yes, it does.
and third is when he becomes Perfect Sentry,
Mhm.
where Robert, Bob, and the Sentry, so where the Void, Bob and Sentry, become
Yeah, we
one,
just talked
and
about
he
that.
Mhm.
and he's just like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
literally.
follow. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, literally every comic book that you just mentioned, which is again, like I was saying, are the only major stories in the Century that anybody really follows. And
Yeah.
that's including the single that was actually based on the Century called The Century, the series,
Mhm.
which
Yeah,
was again a it's weird because it's like a pseudo origin story who never really had a comic book during that time in history, and they just forced it in, making it seem that
and
us
they even
audience
tried to
had
give him
forgotten
his
about him.
own. Yeah, they even tried to give him his own comic book, and
I
it
think that's
never
what
took
Chris was saying.
off.
Yeah.
It never took off. He was always relegated to being a background character or a supporting character who came in. And honestly, I have to
Punch,
give number
punch.
4, and I can't believe I forgot this. World War Hulk. Where
Yeah,
him and
not so much.
Where him and World War Hulk go toe to toe.
Going at it. Yeah.
And they beat each other to a standstill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're
You
gonna get.
know,
I guarantee we're gonna get the Golden Man story, right?
Maybe.
Where the Hulk is like, Golden Man, I love
you
you,
know.
or whatever. We're
Honestly,
gonna get it.
I wonder if they're gonna switch out him for Hyperion
I told you.
and Thor, and
That's a
and
given. I think that's what they're gonna
yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
Trix, I know you gotta leave real quick, but I think my follow-up question to what I asked you is, so how do you think they handled him in this movie? Were you in agreement with it? Did you think it was kind of lackluster? What were your thoughts on that?
Honestly, man, I'm not displeased. I'm not
Okay.
displeased. And the reason that I say that is because you don't really get to see the Sentry like fight. You
Yeah.
just get to see him dominate, right? Which is
Right.
essentially what we got in the movie, where
Hmm.
he just like big dominates and stuff like that. I thought they kind of gave him like a larger power set than he has in the comics. Because like
Really?
in the
Yeah,
yeah,
telekinesis, fucking
the
laser
whole
vision,
the whole telekinesis and
fucking
like
wild.
and like heating things up. I thought that was a little weird, but
Yeah, because why does he need that?
I'm not, but I'm also not going to get mad at it either.
Okay.
Like you really, and I think from a cinematic and I think from a storytelling point of view, it's kind of one of those things like, hey, you really want to drive home the fact that like this guy
Is a
can do
problem.
it all.
Yeah.
This guy can do it all. Like if your name is not Gaia and you're a scroll with like the DNA of like every fucking,
Everyone, that's what we're talking about.
of everybody,
Hmm.
like you're probably not standing a chance. And even then,
Yeah,
yet again,
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
like failed thing, she's probably not even canon anymore. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
And yeah, and I kind of want to bring up the article that you had posted on our chat.
Did you get to read
You
it?
know, yeah, well, I read it outside of WSJ.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I got to read because like someone posted the whole article
The whole article.
outside, the whole article outside of
The
that
WSJ.
publication. Yeah,
What are your
and so
thoughts?
so honestly, I agree with it. uh, I I I think that's the best way to articulate what we have been feeling as the superhero like fatigue or the Marvel fatigue and stuff like that. It's
Hmm.
that I think the superhero fatigue is I think that's where it is that it's no longer entertainment, it's homework,
Yes.
and that's what's taking away from our entertainment as far as like that goes. But and I think that's why Daredevil was so successful, because just as long as you saw the Daredevil series, you were fine.
Hmm.
You knew what was happening. You didn't need to fucking watch 15 years of fucking Marvel movies to understand what was going on. You
Yeah.
just needed to watch, two, 3 seasons in Defenders to kind of understand
To understand what's
where,
going on.
where Daredevil was coming from.
Mhm.
And even then, like the only harken back to everything that happened was the avocados of law.
I was gonna say, and you really didn't even need to. You could have just watched the
Yeah.
show and just took it from there.
Yeah.
I do really do that. But going to the article that I sent in there, I just think that it highlights Kevin Feige and where he is right now. I think that he understands, and I hope this is what I'm hoping. I don't know for a fact whether he does or he doesn't. I just think that he understands that uh that height of Endgame, it's it's not gonna come as easy as he
Yeah.
initially thought.
No, and
There's no more of
honestly,
that.
I have to say you're probably never gonna get that hype again.
yeah, they should
And
throw
I
it.
think I said that last show. I think those
You
days
know,
are over, dude. Like I think that's over, bro.
but that's the thing, dude. They don't have to come back again. Like you don't need to bring it. I'm not gonna
That's
say you don't
tough.
need to bring you don't need to bring it that hard. But
That's
you know what,
tough.
man? Like but if you try and match it or attempt to match it, but you give a good effort behind it and stuff like that, dude, fuck it. And tell a good story behind it, because you know what, dude? But like beyond everything and all the fucking comedy bullshit that we got in Thunderbolts, it was still a good movie. It was still intriguing. You still got a good story. It still played out the way that it should have. The pacing wasn't bad. The story was still told. We still had like emotional moments. We still had good comedic moments. And on
Mhm.
top of that, we got, character releases that, we hadn't seen before. And on top of that, they also did away with a character. I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't like the way that they got rid of Taskmaster, but
I just said that.
let's
I just said that.
I mean, let's be for real.
That was
If you
wild,
were
bro.
if you weren't paying attention to the fucking to
Black Widow.
the whatchamacallit, to the fucking commercials and all the
Okay, yeah,
previews and stuff
yeah.
like that, and you didn't know that Taskmaster was probably gonna die, you're dumb.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the aspect
But
of
like but speak to how unceremoniously it was, and it was like
yeah,
a non-factor. It happened, and then we were just on to the next part of the movie. I thought that was kind of wild.
and I want to give just a little bit of pushback.
Go ahead.
And I think it's because of the factor that we believe that we'll never reach a pinnacle as we did with Endgame and Infinity War, is because in the last several phases, we've been nurtured into believing that this is as good as it's ever going to get, and we're never going to get it back again. You know what I mean? So we're kind of like now we're looking at Thunderbolts, which I mean we're giving it roughly a low 8, a high 7, and this is
I give it a solid 8.
yeah okay.
You know,
But
Well,
it's a standalone movie though. It's like it doesn't really have any effect to any other connecting MCU thing.
yes, it
though.
does. Yeah, the ending literally connects it to the entire Secret Wars.
The
Doomsday
post
story.
credit,
yeah,
the post
but that's post credit. And
Yeah.
on top of that, but you know, like on top of that, the movie that we got right before that was a fucking Incredible Hulk sequel that
which
was,
wasn't
you know, that was branded as a Captain America movie. I don't
But
care
yeah,
how the
but
fuck you
this is what
I don't
I'm
care how
talking
you try
about.
and, you know, frame it out like outside of that.
Yeah,
But
what I'm saying
know,
is we've been catered into believing that this is as good as it should get for us now. And when we get a movie that's at least mid, we're like, hey, you know what? This is the best we got. Fuck yeah, let's praise it. And I don't think it should be that way. I don't think it should be that way for what it is that they produced with Endgame and Infinity War. If they were to keep at least 10%, 15% of that cast and crew of workers that work in behind the scenes, they should be giving us something that's still good in nature, at least good, because we're watching Sinners and we're fucking blown away by it. Fucking Brian had to tell me that he had to go clean his palate watching a movie about an autistic Ben Affleck and a John Bernthal who's still the Punisher, who just that wants love from his brother. And he was like, that was a better movie than the Thunderbolts. And it's like, okay, well, we're missing something here. We're missing something.
You really think Accountant 2 was better than Thunderbolts?
Personally, yeah, I did.
Okay, well, I mean,
I had more fun. I was more engaged.
Did you see Accountant 2, Brett Trigger?
Huh?
Did you see it too?
Right.
I haven't seen Accountant 2, so that's why I'm like,
I would say if you saw the first movie, I would say watch this movie is better than the first one. But again, and that's just because John Bernthal, like I don't know what it is about John Bernthal, but like whatever he touches, dude, like it just makes it that much better, bro.
You know,
and
dude,
I don't
honestly,
know what it is.
honestly, I think as an actor, he kind of like has his bearing. Like,
but he's the same. But the weird part is he's the same fucking person in every fucking show or movie. It's just him.
But that's
he's good at it.
No, but that's actually not true.
He's like a miniature Punisher in this movie.
No, he isn't. See, here's the thing, and people don't realize his early work. They don't. They don't remember his early work, dude.
My earliest from Walking Dead. That's the first time I saw him.
Okay. Check out Law and Order.
Okay.
That guy's a reporter, and he's a dork.
Okay.
Well, that's like the
hold on.
Let him cook.
You know, hold on. And then watch How I Met Your Mother, right around the same time as The Walking Dead, and that guy's a fucking dork.
Okay,
you know?
Let's say post fucking How I Met Your Mother, bro. Every movie, don't
get me wrong. Like after The Walking Dead, you know, like it's been the I fucking love that guy.
But don't get what I'm saying misconstrued. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying it fucking works, and I'm surprised that it works.
And that's what I mean. But like in the first Accountant, he really didn't get a whole lot of screen time. He really didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like he really didn't. It was a very, very like Ben Affleck oriented movie, and was it Anna Kendrick? That's her name. And you know, and then was it Jonathan Lithgow? And then, like every once in a while, they would sprinkle in a little bit of, you know, John Bernthal.
Well, I mean, digressing back to what I was talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're way off topic.
Even if you know, in my opinion, with the money and the talent and everything that Disney has under the Marvel wing, they should not be losing to a movie like Sinners. In fact, most of the actors that are in that movie have probably been in most of the Marvel films also. And it's the directing that's going on that those people have really good talent that Marvel and Disney are not bringing into this.
Yeah, but at the same time, we also have to remember that Sinners is completely removed from the Disney landscape. So those investors have zero fucking, you know, say in what Ryan Coogler does.
And after,
you know, and that's not at all to say that Ryan Coogler isn't a fucking genius himself.
Yeah, after phase 4 and what we gotten from phase 5, I think you would be insane to think that a Disney movie or property would not do worse than something that is a new IP. Like that's just weird to say because like they don't have like they're every time they release a movie or a property, they lose more and more real estate with normies and the casuals, and that's who they relied mostly on in that first 10 years. Like that's the reason why
Shit, first 13, my guy.
first,
Yeah.
all right, I'll
But
give you the first 13. They relied so much on the normies buying into what they were selling, and they just don't have that anymore, bro. And I
yeah,
and that's
and you're not wrong, dude. You know that luster, the allure
the
is kind
spark.
of, oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of over. But you know what, dude? Like that's also like what I mean. You know, like we got Thunderbolts and we got something that like was
For sure,
kind of
it was
out of the
smooth.
norm, was kind of out of the norm, but you still had a good time with it.
So we need to
You know,
champion it, is what you're saying.
no, I'm not saying we need to champion it because, like, I understand what Chris is trying to say, but I do not agree with the whole like, oh, this is the best it's gonna be. Because if this was the best it was gonna be, that should have been given to Captain America, and that movie was like high grade ass.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely correct. But the thing is that Marvel is still it's messed up enough within the last several years that they had to go back to getting the Russo brothers to come back. I don't think that was their. I don't think that was their
I
end
don't
game
disagree. I
process.
don't disagree with you, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like, you know, once again, this is like one of those that like, hey man, you know, like that should have been in the talks like right
Yes.
after fucking Endgame. Like, hey man, if I make like another big ass fucking, you know, like play,
We
you
should bring
guys
them
are in,
back or
right?
whatnot,
Like
right?
you guys are in, right? And they're like, don't call me until that play is ready.
True.
But
You know,
that's
so
That's
that's
cool.
like type
that's
shit.
that's going back to that article that you said that you read is the biggest misstep that Marvel has done, and they're going to pay a dear consequence for that. Is Disney Plus is trying to have so many um shows on Disney Plus. It just it kind of just drained people. It drained people,
Yeah,
and
and I do like in that how in that article they were kind of like, all right, dude, deadass, like we really need to quit. You know what? Like we're really gonna ramp down with what we're putting out.
Kevin
Like,
Feige was initially against the Disney Plus theory, but he had to make nice. Like he had to make nice and play politics, and so he caved. And then he said that he had an opportunity of getting more of his idea out there. The problem is that he got burnt out, dude. He got burnt out, and then he got other people to do his job for him. And now we're in the position that we're in. And so now he's got to make it. He's got to get them out of it.
yeah, man, and I get it, dude. I have a feeling that this is almost like a Bob Iger, you know, situation.
Oh no,
You
one
know,
thousand
where
percent.
you know where it's kind of like, dude, I've done this for so fucking long. Yeah, man, like give me a break. And then like they're like, "Hey, man, we got this from here, dude. Yeah, 100%. We're gonna live up to it. You fuck up like 5, 6 times, and you know what? You guys are done. I'm gonna come back. Stop fucking my shit up. And then you know you come back in and like, okay, let me try and unfuck everything that you've
Yeah.
done so far.
He had to
You
come
know,
back.
and
Like
you
that
know,
was the first.
and it's
That was
one of
the
those,
first
and
Hail
it's
Mary.
one of those things like, but like a lot like how we feel about Star Wars and stuff like that. That shit's
Hmm.
not gonna change overnight, dude. That's gonna take time.
Fair.
Well,
You
I
know,
mean,
it's
Fair.
gonna take time. You
they
know,
had
and
the
that's gonna take
entire
years
phase
too.
4 and 5, didn't they?
But I mean, he wasn't a part of all of Phase 4 and or 5.
No.
Who? Who fight? Iger?
Feige.
Oh, Feige. Yeah, no, during the Disney Plus era. So yeah, four and five, he was kind of taking a back seat. But I think
Yeah.
the first Hail Mary, fuck the Russo brothers, or in a big Hail Mary is getting fucking RDJ to be as fucking Doom, which I still am trying to wrap my head around that,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Yeah,
The
and now
first
like I mean, like I'm still somewhat on board with the idea, but at the same time, I'm still kind of like, dude, how are you gonna like unfuck this?
but
You know?
the first Hail Mary that was thrown was to bring back Bob Iger. This motherfucker retired. They were fucking up so bad that they had to go back and get him. And then
Yeah.
he came back, and the first thing he said when he came back is, "I'm putting an end to all this shit." And I remember coming on this show and I said, Kevin Feige needs to watch his ass, bro, because I don't think that Bob Iger is fucking around, bro. Like you're fucking with Bob Iger's legacy at this point, bro, and I don't think he's cool with that. So a
Yeah.
lot of shit's gonna
No, and you know,
change.
but at the same time, like Bob Iger is also not afraid of being like, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
We're not doing that. Oh no, but it'll make no. We're not gonna. You're doing dumb things, and I get. You know, we want to make money. We're gonna make money my way. not your way, because your way is stupid.
That's a good point. It's a real good point. Um, so for me, I think the way they handled the Sentry was a little bit weak. And it's not the fact on how they handled the power set, right? I was just like Trig saw. I was slightly confused at the extra powers they gave him because again, he's already hyper strong, hyper fast, and I just think that whoever was writing for his character just assumed that he had every major power like level or power skill that any superhero can have. Because I
Yeah,
don't
and that's also like that's the unfortunate thing that happens with his
yeah.
character in their comics.
Yep.
They don't know how to write him,
Write him.
and like we can't blame the MCU writers on that.
Yeah, because they're just
Right,
going off
because
the
you can't even. I
yeah.
mean, you can barely blame the fucking, the writers over at
Okay.
fucking Marvel, comics for that.
Yeah.
Like no, like there are very. I mean, yet again, we just pointed this out. I just pointed this out. There's only like a handful of times in like fucking publication history where he like went out and did something cool, and you count them all in one hand.
Yeah, just real random shit, right?
Yeah.
But I think that where they really failed at is because I think those powers make sense when you give the void as an entity its own power set also. Like the void itself could probably do telekinesis. Like the void itself can probably do like heat shit out of its eyes or out of its mouth or laser beams or whatever. Like I kind of feel like that would be power sets with the strength and the flying and the speed and all that stuff. I just believe that to be powers that the void can do. Right?
Well, the void. Yeah, well, the void is also like reality warping, which granted we
But you
got
see what
to.
I mean,
We
right?
know,
So like
we got to see it, anyway. But like, yes, I do understand what you mean. I can agree to like to an extent because like yes, you know,
but I don't think
we
that they
we would
handle
we would also like to think that like base century can do all that because like base century is
the void
is also the void in his own right,
in his own mind, right? Yeah. But no,
So
so I don't
my only introduction to Sentry, and I don't say because I know of Siege, but is
Mhm.
King in Black. When it comes to the power set of Void and Sentry, who is the more? Is there a person that's more OP than the other one, or are they both kind of on the same basis as
No, the
the?
the void. Like if
Yeah, the
you're
void.
if you're really gonna like say like, oh, like who are the Avengers most afraid of?
It was Void.
They're afraid of the void.
Okay.
Like 100%. And it's one of those things where like especially like in King in Black. King in Black was a great representation of that because when Sentry came and he was like, "Oh hell yeah, dude. Like I'm going to come get it." And then like
You're an
Null was like fighting it. Yeah, Null was like about to like rip him apart, and
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh God, the void is coming! The void is coming! Oh my God!" And
The
like he's
Void.
like, "Yeah, and fuck him!" Boom, rips him apart, and he's like the layer that the being that he is bows to me. I am the void. I am the
yeah,
darkness.
because null technically is the void in the beginning of time.
Yeah. So like
So
it's
he
one of
kind
those
of
things where it's like, yeah, dude. I'm
they needed to do something of that nature to make the void underneath what Null was as a person.
You
If
gotta
that
get
makes
Void.
sense.
You gotta get Null over though. Like you have to
Yeah,
get
you have to get Null above the void in that situation, right?
yeah.
well, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
even in the mindset of it too, like there was a comic book that the Century is fighting Owen Reese, right? And Owen Reese literally dissolves him into an atomic level, like deletes him from history, and his healing factor still brings him back. And the reason why is because people then said, "Oh, it's because the Century uh, can control his powers at an atomic level." And it's like, well, if the Null ripped him in half, then shouldn't he just be able to regenerate anyways? Right, Triggs? Am I not right with that?
Okay, one more time. I actually like cut out real quick, but
I
go
said
one more time.
when the Sentry fought Owen Reese, he demolecularized him to an atomic level, and the Sentry's powers were still able to bring him back. Right from, and he was able to regen, and because apparently they said that he has atomic control of his cellular level, and that's why his regeneration brought him back to life after being bleeped out of existence by the Molecule Man, which is pretty
I
fucking strong.
actually don't remember that, but okay. You
No,
know,
that's
if
it's
you,
straight.
you
It's straight. I'll bring it up later, but I'll prove it
yeah,
to you.
all right,
Um,
yeah, good.
then and later on in the comic books, what just happened recently, he's ripped in half by Null. Technically, he should still be able to regenerate himself because of that power set, but they
Yeah, but no,
kind
it's
of
like,
removed it
you
for the
know, yeah.
writing possibility,
Well,
right?
I'm not even gonna say removed it. It's more of like, hey,
Inconsistency.
yeah, like you're only like this because I fucking allow it to like be like this. So you know, watch your mouth, sort of shit.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Uh,
it's just I feel like they under they under how do you say it? Like
Utilized,
they what?
utilized, underutilized. Like,
Underutilized what the void actually is. And
okay,
they made it more of like a like we said earlier in the comments, Elizabeth said it, like a bipolar situation rather than it be
but
an actual
that's
like
exactly what
conscious,
it is, though.
but
You
it's a
know, but
cosmic
like,
being though.
you no, it isn't.
The void is a, like a
Yeah,
cosmic multiversal being.
no, he's at the level of it, but he's not that. Um, it is 100% a like huge mental health issue. That is always what it has been, even in Siege. That's why he was manipulated the way that he was in Siege. You know, when they were like, "Oh, I killed your wife, so you should be crazy now," and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna go crazy because my wife is dead." And then yeah, I'm just gonna void out and fucking rip Ares in half. You know,
Yeah,
and
that's
just
the
you
manipulation
know
process, right?
yeah, but at the same time that like goes to yet again goes to show that like where that's where the the mental health of Bob Reynolds, that he's that susceptible to like everything, that he's he has to watch himself almost as much as fucking Bruce Banner does, with
Yes.
his own mental health, because like if he loses control, you know very much like the Hulk, like he's gonna fucking ruin shit. Everybody's gonna have a bad fucking day.
Yeah. I've always believed that the Century was the wall or the shackle that prevents the void from being who it actually is. Right.
Oh man, and I'd really like to say that it was Bob, right?
Well, they're all three.
And right, like all three, obviously play a part in Bob Reynolds and stuff like that. But you want to give significance to Bob because it's Bob who's trying to overcome
He's a
his
human.
own traumas. It's
Yeah.
Bob who's trying to overcome, his own past and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's why like you have, like the different Hulks and stuff like that. It's Bruce that's trying to overcome all these things that he's been through, and overcome everything that he has been through in his life to like allow him some modicum of control over the Hulk or with the Hulk.
Yeah. True that. True that. True that. Well, interesting. Yeah, I feel like, or maybe that's the factor. Maybe it was just the fact that I didn't feel like the void itself was really given its own like Legion esque persona, where it's more of like Bob just needing to be like the sun's going down, Bob. Here's Yelena, touch the palm kind of thing. That's kind of like where it more set to, which you kind of
Ah man,
reference
you
to
you
being more
you'd
close
need
to the
your
Hulk.
own fucking movie for that, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean, I kind of
like
Brian made a really good point earlier in saying that he kind of sees it too, and I think you even said it too, where you're feeling like that. We might end up getting that cool time runs out Thor with the Hyperion essence finally, because I mean, Chris Helmsworth, they already talked about him, giving him like a cool send off. We understand that there needs to be a battle world, so there needs to be a destruction of this universe. Uh,
yeah.
and we know
But at
for
the
sure
same
they're
time,
not going to bring.
but if you were really gonna, you know, not call a spade,
Mhm,
quote my man's over here,
mhm.
um, then we need an ultimate universe. We need a second universe to call upon.
And you know what's
Is that the
crazy?
Fox?
That's a really good point.
Is that the Universal universe? Is that the Fox universe?
I think our
like
universe. I think our universe is the ultimate universe, and the universe we're going to be bumping into is the 616, which is the Fox, and that's why everybody's more like comic book accurate. And that's the universe we're bumping into, but we're the ultimate universe because that's what our world.
we're supposed to be, but
Yeah,
now we
yeah.
have the Century in it,
I think it's
and shit
cool
like
though.
that.
Yeah, I think it's cool though. I mean, we talked about it before. We're not going to get the Hyperion guy, right?
No, yeah,
But that's
no,
because we have
it's
this.
yeah, and that's why like to try and I guess like manage expectations and stuff like that. Like, oh, like like what are we gonna get? Who are we gonna get for XYZ?
Runs out.
Like yeah, like instances and time runs out. Like as it is, dude. Like time runs out. Fucking starts with Black Panther. Like
And I
how are we gonna get that?
I even wanted to bring it up too that with the post-credit scene, the very, very ending credit scene, we get this like 14-month time skip. All the Avengers look like, or now the new Avengers look like I don't know, corporate Avengers. They all look like
Yeah.
you even have a what's his name, the Red Guardian come out with like a uniform that's like a race car driver, very much like that movie back in the day with Ben Stiller, the one with where they're all superheroes, the funny one. I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Oh, the Mystery Man.
The Mystery Man, right? He comes
Yeah.
out, he's wearing like this funny suit, very reminiscent to the Red Hulk in the Avengers series, where he has like the aviators and the big mustache, dude, like Thunderbolt Ross, right? But you of course have the Sentry Bob, who's in the background, who kind of hasn't changed ever since. Is kind of like this like wimpy, kind of like I did the dishes though, even though he's like this very ominously scary guy who never was punished for, of course, fucking bleeping out almost all of New York again. Which again, I don't know how these people live that life, dude. I would be scared just to walk outside. These people are just going to
Dude,
work.
I guarantee you that car, like that fucking little girl, went home and like pet her cat
Cried.
or whatever, and was just like, well, at least I
Yeah,
didn't
they're
die
just
this
so
time.
used to like these world-ending events, dude. I feel so
Yeah.
bad for all those people. We boys, did we get a representation of the Fantastic Four's life raft because of this rocket ship?
It's a possibility.
You think so? I think so. Brian, what do you think?
I mean, we literally just saw them flying in the air, so I don't know what.
But it has
think
to come
so
from
far.
a multiverse, right?
We'd
Well-
like to think that.
Well, yeah, I think it's already been said that they're from a different universe, right?
So there's a possibility that ship is going to fly into this universe, showing that it can go through multiverses, which is, I think, the only ship that can technically, right? Which would technically make it the MCU version of the life raft that they use in Time Runs Out, which means that might be the ship that gets these guys into Battle World because it can transcend multiverses.
only if in the Fantastic Four the threat is an incursion, right? Because that was
Yes.
the reason. That was the reason for the life raft, right? So
Yeah.
if that's not the case, then it could just be a ship that they were running from fucking Galactus at this point.
Now we have two options, boys. One, the Fantastic Four succeeds, learns about the multiverse, and travels to save them. Or number two, the Fantastic Four fails. The trailer shows them escaping their universe and whatever it is that they need to do to escape and fix the situation, and then comes into our universe. Which one do you guys think it would?
We don't have any use for the universe moving forward. They have to be in the 616 moving forward in order for Doomsday to continue. Right?
No. But I understand that. But what I'm saying is, did that post-credit scene spoil the Fantastic Four movie?
No.
Does their universe survive and they win and they stop Galactus, or do they lose and they run and Galactus is out there destroying universes like the Cabal?
I don't know.
It's hard, man. That's why I thought it was a very bold move for them to do that. boys. Triggs, I'll let. Triggs is getting a. Triggs, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Derpy, are you still here? You sleepy little dude.
I am on the East Coast, and you're dragging it out.
Are you dying? Don't be dying.
I am dying because I'm on the East Coast, and you're dragging it out over topics.
I know, dude. We're talking about spoilers. Derpy.
Yeah, but it's been a half hour on it.
I know.
We still gotta get to The Last of Us.
No, we'll probably cover it real quick because we're gonna get to the party after,
as
right?
it is, I actually got to bounce, guys.
Well, that was pretty much the last question I wanted to ask you guys. If you guys feel that one gave us a definitive ending as to what happens in Fantastic Four, or what do you think is going to happen? Because I feel like that was a spoiler, a big spoiler.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was a spoiler. I just think that it was.
I don't either.
Cool. I just think it was just cool that they introduced them. I think that's what it was. I didn't think too hard into it.
Okay.
I
Derp,
think
you
it's
too?
I think it's post events of Fantastic Four.
Straight.
Straight up.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I kind of felt like, in my opinion, I thought it was a little bit of a spoiler because it makes me feel like that in the trailer we see the Fantastic Four, there's like a planet exploding. And I feel like this is them, like that was their planet, and they're just leaving the whole multiverse before their incursion.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah. I kind of feel like it's a bold move though, but very cool introduction to the Fantastic Four finally make it into our universe. And then I'm guessing we're getting our incursion right after, right?
I would assume.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty safe to say. I mean, we're close, boys. We're close to getting up to the 10-year, the 20-year anniversary of Marvel. I think we're at 20 years already, aren't we?
Nope.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there. That's
We're
super
getting there.
crazy.
3 years off.
Isn't it fucking crazy to think that whoever had children when the first Iron Man movie came out, they have 20-year-old children almost? That's crazy, guys. We've been watching it for that long. Nuts. Alrighty. Guys, Triggs, you're gonna bounce out, yeah?
Yeah, I gotta take off.
All right,
Thank you so
Triggs,
much. I'm
bro.
actually, like I said, I'm actually gonna go watch the Thunderbolts in theaters this time. So I will
Go check it out.
I'm gonna rewatch. So this will be my second time.
Hit us up, brother. Hit us up when you're done.
Yeah, for sure. Peace.
Laters, brother. Alrighty, boys. Derpy, Brian, we got a little bit of time. I'm gonna let you guys have it. Last of Us episode 3. What'd you guys think? Brian, Terps, you guys are fans of the game. I'm not as big.
Yeah, we're gonna watch the next episode afterwards, so I'm gonna keep this really short. I wasn't a big fan of the last episode, not gonna lie. They did introduce the scars, which I thought was pretty cool. Abby is going to interact with them a lot, so just looking forward to that. I didn't like how they tried to humanize them. I guess that's for the show's purpose, but as far as I'm concerned with the game, you don't necessarily get to see that aspect of them, so I think that's an interesting take. But yeah, when it comes to that last episode, it's kind of a filler episode, dragged on a little bit too long for me. Especially after episode 2. The game itself is high octane from start to finish, so I just don't want them to deviate too much. But I get it; it's a show. It's got to drag on a little bit. You're gonna get filler episodes, so I give it probably a 6 out of 10.
Okay, good. Derp, you?
Brian summed it up for me. 7 out of 10. Man, a few words.
Man, a few words. I like it. I got to see it. I thought it was all right. I'd probably give it like a 7.5. I think it was pretty nice in the sense of like how they showed Ellie like dealing with all the drama and like how she was handling it.
Like Brian,
I didn't really understand. What's up?
I said, like Brian said, there was more trauma in the game than the show.
I thought they did okay. I really didn't expect Bella Ramsey, like the actress, to be able to like do that. I hadn't seen her act that way before, except for the last episode of the first season. I thought she did fairly well on, acting the scenes out and, giving us the emotional content. I felt the pain. Did I feel like it was enough? It was all right. And then there were certain parts that I didn't really care for too much, which is, of course, like her attitude, like the way they write her attitude in the game, which I'm guessing that's the way she's in the game, like very standoffish or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand the whistlers. I know that when we were watching it, you guys were like, "Oh wow, that's crazy! I didn't really see that before." But okay, which I'm guessing that's what Brian, what you're talking about when it comes to like them kind of expanding on him a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And then of course we see that scene where they're like all murdered and shit, and it kind of makes you like wonder, like, damn, dude, like that's crazy. Like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm intrigued. I mean, I understand it's a filler episode, but I'm guessing it's because of the fact that Joel's death is such a huge part of the game that takes up a huge amount of the topping and vision of the conversation. And if I'm not mistaken, I think like in the game, it goes directly right into Abby's life, not Ellie's life. So
Yeah,
now
as soon as Joel dies,
dies
it goes into Abby's
Abby's world.
into you're facing you're playing as Abby, and then she runs into again, I don't want to spoil it, but she runs into a duo of people that kind of assist you in this Scar
Juvenile.
universe shit. Yeah.
And it's cool because of the fact that we're gonna get like I guess like a more interesting telling of Ellie's part of the story. I'm guessing
Well, that's
like
what it
something
is.
that
Yeah.
really wasn't expanded on in the game.
Well, no, I mean that's what the whole game is. Like, then that's what I said. After episode 2, that's where the game really starts because you have this this interesting dynamic as a player, being that you've grown this attachment to Ellie and Joel, but now you have to play as this character. But at the same time, in your head, all you're thinking about is
How
Ellie
much
and
you
where she
dislike her?
and yeah, and well, Abby, of course, but Ellie as to where she is mentally at this point.
Got it.
I think they kind of dropped the ball trying to explain that in the last episodes. That's why I kind of didn't like it so much.
Understood. Understood. Yeah. Well, we're excited. We're about to jump into the next episode. We're gonna go check it out right now. To anybody that's out there, if you haven't seen The Last of Us, you guys got to go check it out. It's on HBO Max or Cinemax. Which one?
Max.
It's on Cinemax, right? Or Max itself.
Max.
Max, the series. If you guys don't have that, I bet you there's other ways you could probably rent it on Amazon or Pirata or whatever you're gonna watch it on. But yeah, definitely an interesting show. Going very well. Covering here every week. We have the opportunity. If you want to go check it out with us, I know that Derpy will probably put up some type of link or something that you guys can go and watch it alongside with us. If you got some free time, I know it's Sunday and some people go to sleep. It's understandable, but if you guys want to go check it out, we got you. Other than that, yeah, we hope you guys got the opportunity to go see the Thunderbolts film, and we hope that you guys had a chance to enjoy it. And if you did, let us know in the comment section what you guys thought, how you guys dug the show and the movie and all that stuff, guys. Let us know. We're really interested in always hearing your point of views and your guys' takes, because of course you guys come in and listen to us, and then you guys jump in the conversation and give us some really great ideas. John, I didn't get to read yours, but he said he's talking about the trailer and that, and then he says either of those options may not happen. I believe the Fantastic Four, if they are there to fight Doctor Doom, they need the new Avengers. I don't know, man. I don't know what those guys do against a guy like Doctor Doom, but we're gonna have to see.
Motherfuckers need to worry about getting sued, bro.
Yeah, straight by Captain by fucking the new or Sam Wilson's Captain America. I thought that was really that was witty, dude. That was very witty for them to add all the fucking
new Avengers
political, the political jargon and the getting sued and all that stuff. Very interesting take on the way that they're handling it. I think that was more of a Deadpool comic book that they used to do that kind of stuff. So kind of funny on them adding that stuff. So good call. Guys, I want to say thank you so much to all our people and all of our extraordinary listeners. We appreciate every one of you for always coming in every week and watching us. Brian, thank you. Sure. Derpy, thank you. Triggs out there in the La La Land about to go hit up and watch the Thunderbolts movie. Thank you, Triggs. Always a pleasure having you in. And guys, Derpy, do me a favor. In the comments, if you can, lay out.
Send it to you.
Okay, you already got it to me. Let me put them in the link in case anyone wants to join us. Okay, that's good, right? We can do that, Derp.
Yes.
Or do you have it? Are you going to be setting it up on Twitch or no?
That's you did the Twitch part. I did just do the site part. Remember?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let me put it up in the comment section if anybody would like to join us. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to put up your comment, save link, and I'm going to put it here. I want you guys always to know you guys always have a place with us here with the Average Boys Podcast. Anywhere you want to go to with your nerdy self, you always have a group of people. Oh, no, it didn't work. What the heck? Let me get that again. Copy link. Let's do that again. Bang.
Copy the wrong link, my boy.
Yeah, man, I typed in the title for the show. All right, here we go. So, guys, if you would like to join us, it's right there in the link. You guys can hit us up. It's a little lobby that we jump in and we theater stuff real quick. We'll probably be in there in a little bit. I got to do something extremely fast. It's going to take me a couple minutes, but I'll be in there in a little bit. But the boys will jump right in and get right to work. Start to watching a fun show. And again, like we said, you jump in, join us, and live reaction, watch party. It's your opportunity to join us. So, again, thank you guys again for always jumping in with us here on Sunday night with the Average Boys podcast. We appreciate every one of you. Have a good week. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys again here next Sunday here on the Average Boys.
Peace.
Laters.